Welcome to Final Show Films. Before you enjoy the following production, there's just a few things I'd like to get out of the way first. Starting off, I'd like to thank all of our Patreon supporters, especially our $25 tier supporters, Antitonic, Cat, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. If you'd like to support us, you can do so on our Patreon at patreon.com/fsfilms, as well as by following me on Twitter at Johnny Bates, following and subscribing to us on Twitch, twitch.tv/Senstaku, on YouTube, youtube.com/Senstaku, and on any of our podcast feeds, links to which you can find on my Twitter account. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I hope you have a good time. Bye.
So it can't grow a new troll. Hello, everybody!
Hello! Real quick, just want to add on to the end of our video intro. Thank you to Maureen Montee, another one of our $25 tier supporters. I haven't updated the video intro yet. I'm working on it. I have 2 kids.
Yeah. Excuses.
Yes.
I have 2 kids. They're both very needy.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Untethered, taking place in World of Darkness, Mage the Ascension. I will be your storyteller for the evening.
I was just checking the audio.
Yes, making sure that we can indeed be Horde.
Yeah.
Horde?
He just wanted to be close to you.
I have this... I've been in charge of the mechanics and tech for Final Show Films for the past 5 years. So...
I've learned a couple things, such as when to tell, hey, the audio bar is not moving. I wonder if it's
So
not
I
working.
have a thing where I have to check everything. It's been ingrained in me.
Right now, doing absolutely nothing, because it's plugged into the wall and not plugged into the computer. Alright, so...
Just wanted to check.
So, our party this week. On my left, we have...
I'm John, I'm playing Galadir Alanai, the Order of Hermes roadie, and I have my actual character sheet this week.
On his left...
Hi, I'm Holly. I'm playing Tarell, and she is a thing. She's
Verbena.
I think she's a person.
Verbena, thank you. Verbena, and she's like a dance instructor.
And on her left...
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Akuma, the Akashic gang boss.
Yours sounds cooler than mine.
And on my right...
That would be me.
That is you.
I'm Stan, and I'm playing Duncan, and he's like some guy that just showed up. Security detail.
Security consultant for the Royal Pacific Company.
Royal Pacific.
AKA the people who own half the casinos and resorts on
Do you have a
Saipan.
sect?
I don't. I have affiliation. Oh, I don't have a sect yet. No.
We will figure that out. Do not concern yourselves.
I don't know. I was looking at that, and I got it down.
This isn't a sect-focused campaign, but...
No.
Yeah.
Well, there are people in sects, though.
No.
Alright, and on his right...
Hi, I'm Zach, and I'm playing David Tarasu, the Doctor.
Dave Tarasu!
Dave Turles.
And aren't you Son of Ether?
Yeah.
Son of Ether. Alright. And on the furthest right...
Hey, I'm Rudy. I'll be playing Skylar Torres, the detective. I still haven't picked the sect.
That's good.
So you're not the only one.
We have 2 sectless mages.
Cool. We'll figure it out.
I'm only kind of in my sect, really.
I love the last name there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Good.
original.
Yeah.
You'll never guess where I came up with it.
Represent!
Well, there is a difference. There is one letter difference.
There's
one spells it different.
It's a disease that...
He's using the French spelling for his character.
For the Spanish Catholic, you've got the French spelling.
Yes.
Anyway, so when last we left off, all of our individuals remembered who they were and why they were, and they went to see the individual they remembered, Gilda Schmidt.
Well, we didn't remember. We hadn't
Gilda
met her
Schmidt.
before.
Well,
Yeah, we were
but you
told to
remembered
find
her
her.
name.
we had
Yes.
the name showed
Yes,
up in
but
our
we
brains.
didn't remember her as a person.
Well, you've never met her before, but you were told go find Gilda, and you all remembered who you were in the grand scheme of the multiverse, as well as one of you realized you were a mage at the exact same time. It was a little distressing. In fact, it's probably still distressing.
What? I'm a mage. My son's a fox.
Oh,
What?
You're a multiverse wandering, untethered being.
It's fine. This is just an ordinary Tuesday for me.
So, when we left off, Gilda was about to basically introduce the actual plot as we all sit in her garage. It's closed down recently. It's early evening. The sun is just starting to set.
I look around and see if there's a non-smoking sign in the building.
Well, given the number of diesel engines that run around here, there's not a sign, but common sense dictates.
End of
I
campaign.
pull out a cigarette, light it, and start smoking.
The moment you pull it out, she glares at you.
I'm not going to drop it.
I snuff it from afar.
With
Using,
Magic?
well, yeah, just, what do I have?
that'd be forces.
Yeah, it's forces. Yeah,
You got forces?
I got 3 in forces.
That's like a 2. So yeah, roll me
Yeah.
forces and arete.
I've got
Let's see.
an addiction.
How are you snuffing it, by the way?
It's just,
Just causing the flame to...
just no oxygen in the around vicinity. I'm just gonna.
Don't accidentally suffocate our friends.
Do you have
Do
a
it.
tool that's relevant to this, or...
This is a gesture.
Okay.
Sorry, go.
Sort of wave your
so I'm
hand
doing-
and conveniently cause the
Something Gallagher does.
oxygen to stop being around the flame.
I forget how to do this. So this goes with.
You roll a number of dice equal to
Number
your
of dice.
arete plus your spheres in forces.
The gesture
Okay,
tool
1,
is
2,
rather
3,
versatile
and-
because while
and
it's never really
no time.
super appropriate for the magic at hand, it's never really inappropriate for the magic at hand either.
Yeah.
It does, however, make
two,
it does, however, make magic
It's-
tend to be more vulgar.
2 successes.
2 successes?
Yeah.
I feel like this is vulgar magic.
Yeah, but there's no one around who has a mage.
No, I mean, no, it's just
No witnesses
he's
doesn't
lighting a
make it more
match.
vulgar.
Or no,
That's
no, you're using a lighter, right?
using a lighter.
It's just not poofing out. It's just not working.
Yeah,
right.
so you go to
just
start
not
the thing and
working
it's not lighting. He sees you're doing it.
you
It's not,
see the spark,
Okay.
but
it's
it's
just
not catching.
I would like to make it catch.
Alright.
I have my lighter in hand already.
Yes, and that tool is well equipped, so -1 to the difficulty. Or wait, no. It's a stinking lighter. -2 to the difficulty. You're literally trying to get the object to function as intended. You're not even trying to break the laws of magic. You're trying to maintain the laws of reality.
Success, 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 success.
There.
5 out of 6 successes.
Hold on. Gilda taps you with the wrench, and as you inhale, the most acrid taste enters your mouth.
I mean, it's a cigarette.
Oh no, wrong kind of acrid.
It tastes like diesel fuel.
Yeah, no, it smells like you just hooked yourself up to the back end of a bus's exhaust port. It's also not giving you that nicotine feel.
Is there any diesel fuel in my mouth? Like I pull it out and
Your teeth are black. And the inside of your cigarette has turned into some black, charred remain.
yeah, just pull it out, wipe my teeth off. That's really childish, you know.
I mean, I feel like I could be the one to comment here, but I'm sure you've heard the spiel before.
I believe we have business to get to.
Yes. First of all, at this point, Skylar, you had received a text earlier to meet up over at Gilda's. You got your text said they finally caught up. Meet me at my shop. To clarify, you're fully aware of who you are
Okay.
and who they are,
I have been for a bit now.
and have been basically since you were born.
You've been waiting for us.
To whatever end, you were born, and like sometimes like a 3-year-old child, you had memories of being a 3-year-old child somewhere else, and you kind of got over it. And you're like, oh, okay, I got you.
That's gotta be an experience, knowing that you're actually like a several
Yeah.
hundred-year-old gnome in the body of a 5-year-old.
You spent your childhood knowing that you were a 300-year-old gnomish anthropologist, which equipped you well for your job.
Yeah.
You know, as an investigator.
And very well for all those tests in elementary school.
Oh, yeah. Actually, no, it was very difficult because
The history is wrong.
the history is way wrong.
So is the
History
math,
sucks.
weirdly enough.
Like, your basic arithmetic is fine, but, there's
Well, I was able to work it through.
you're able to figure it out, though.
Yeah.
You're a smart kid. We're a smart kid. How old are you now?
They're like 32.
13? Okay. You've had a pretty good career. You were able to deduce something was weird about this world. You were able to figure out magic pretty early on. You just sort of went through life knowing way more than you should have.
Way more.
It's a strange experience.
It was.
But you have nothing to compare it to. So it's perfectly normal to you.
Yeah.
What do you mean you don't have 2 lives in your head? Silly
Yeah.
mortals.
Yeah.
So, at that point, Gilda has closed the door to her shop, but you're outside the mechanic shop. And now, question: do you live in the capital district, or do you live in one of the native districts?
You would probably live in the capital.
Okay, with because you're a government employee and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've walked out to one of the native districts. It's nice. You cross over the beach road. It's one of the main thoroughfares, and it's really nice, touristy. And the moment you cross over and start to walk into the native areas, it gets rapidly more and more slummish. But you're used to it.
Yeah.
Just kind of how it is.
It's not my first time.
No, in fact, a lot of the crimes you investigate are out here, so. Either that or... Because most of the crimes committed in the capital are by stupid tourists who don't realize that apparently traffic laws do exist on this island. Most of the crimes out here are caused by people addicted to ice, which need a little bit more investigating.
Yeah.
So, you knock on the door. Gilda walks up. You see Gilda walk over and open up the door. Who does everybody see walk in? What do you look like?
Well, he's obviously gonna have to have the detective trench coat on. He's got. I didn't silence my phone today.
I should do that too.
Oh.
Now that I think about it.
Something a rash of phone silences.
I'm always amazed when people that work in theater forget to silence their phones.
I have to be aware of phone calls from work. Thank you very much.
I'm pregnant.
So do I.
My phone is always silenced because
My phone's always silenced anyways, yeah.
That's why it's so hard to get a hold of you.
Yes, he never turns it on.
Admittedly, the always silencing it part is recent because something about the sound in my phone messed up, and now whenever it tries to play a ringtone or an alarm tone, it just comes across as a corrupted and incredibly loud and grating beeping noise. That's annoying.
Interesting. So what do you look like?
Your phone sound system is now MIDI based.
It's
Black short hair. He's kind of got a stubble going. Black pants, just a white shirt underneath, and he's got his body on, his bulletproof vest on, and
Just straight up wearing a bulletproof vest.
yep.
I mean,
Hello and welcome to Island Steve.
I mean, if there's anywhere in the world that you would wear a bulletproof vest out into the public, it is World of Darkness Saipan.
This is true. Also, to clarify, to anybody who's actually from Saipan, we apologize. We realize that the World of Darkness takes all of the negative stereotypes and reinforces them. So if you're actually from Saipan, I apologize. I don't mean to misrepresent your country. However,
World of Darkness means to misrepresent everything. So.
yes. So, yes. You walk in. What's your build?
I guess really average size, not too big.
Nothing outstanding.
Yeah, just average build.
It is Islander Steve. Alright. Alright, Skylar. We'll meet the group. I'm sure you remember who they are, but their names are slightly different here. You immediately recognize the wanted poster of Akuma.
Do I recognize this detective if he made a name for himself?
That would be a knowledge skill. Give any what do you have that'd be pertinent to knowing local
Would I
law?
recognize him?
What?
Law?
Law is more the bureaucracy
That's fair.
of it.
So my knowledges are academics, cosmology, enigmas, law, and occult.
No sort of history or local or anything. Like,
There really isn't. I don't have any politics. Politics are probably
yeah, politics would be what you need.
But I can just roll straight.
yeah, you can
intelligence
roll
if
me
want.
an intelligence, but since you don't have politics, it's a -1.
I have
And
politics.
would I recognize him?
So
You've
If he did any of
only
these,
been
-1
here for a
because you
couple
have
weeks.
politics.
what's the difficulty?
The difficulty to recognize an investigator is going to be 8.
And if it's a knowledge roll that you don't have a dot in the knowledge
I have
for, it
success.
is a -3 to the roll.
A success. You know nothing about him, but you've seen the face. You're sure you've seen him somewhere. You like he's not trying to hide that he's an investigator.
Because new roll plays with dice numbers more than difficulty.
I thought it was only
Yeah.
roll 2.
It's a -1 if you don't have any of the skills. Like, I've seen that face somewhere before, but you don't typically stick around the scene of crime.
Nah.
It ticks Yaren off if you do,
Yeah.
and ticking off Sheriff Yaren is a bad idea.
I've had enough arguments with Yaren to figure that it's easier is not.
Arguments with Yaren tend to end one way, and it's not the way you typically want them to.
No.
It's much better if you can talk with him in a civilized and friendly manner.
He's too much of a pain when he comes in angry.
So, but yes.
Literal physical pain.
No. No, he's very efficient in what he does. If you need to be removed, you're removed.
Now, combat between Akuma and Yaren, Akuma would not win, but there would be too much collateral for Yaren to make it worth it.
Collateral compared to what you do currently versus what he wants, yes. So yes, he walks in. You recognize Akuma for being, on the wanted posters. And you...
He's what, 6th most wanted right now on the island?
You're about 6.
Yeah.
Well, you were 7.
Oh, what's happened? The guy above me is no longer there.
You deduce that you are now 6th.
Yeah.
For you, though, he's the 7th most wanted.
No, you know about the fire. You just got off of work. And you were very thankful you were getting off of work at that time.
Yep.
Somebody else is dealing with that.
Did he hear about? I mean, you told him about it. What happened last week?
All you know is that there was some fire and some place that you suspected to be a gang hideout, and they were doing all sorts of stuff, and then Yaren came in mildly annoyed and said that he would send somebody to deal with it. And you're not exactly sure what sort of authority Yaren actually has. His title is sheriff, but that's kind of an ambiguous title, and you don't know his rank, and you don't know, his jurisdiction, but people just do what he says in the Bureau. And you've never thought to question it. He's the sheriff.
Yeah.
So, anyway. But yes, no, you heard there was a fire and some suspected gang hang out, and it's nothing you need to be worried about. Yaren's on the job. He's sending some investigators.
Footsie with me.
Austin, stop playing footsie with John.
I have giant feet, okay? They need to go somewhere.
Doesn't make it better.
Anyway, before this divulges any further.
Divulges?
Divulges, yes. I am bottom. Don't question me.
Will you reveal any further?
Yes. So yes, you walk in. And you recognize them, and you can make some logical guesses about who everybody else is based on what you remember of them in the previous world. But you remember their old names. You don't know their new names.
Okay.
You know that some of them might go by their old names, but you don't know. I mean, obviously, he goes by Akuma. And you think you recognize her. There was a big deal with filming, and it was a pain, and you think she was involved in the filming. of a movie here, and then it won an Oscar, and now it's just all over the place.
Okay.
So, anyway, so that happens. So he walks in.
She's not criminal.
Gilda, and so do you introduce yourself? For the rest of you, this guy walked in. He doesn't look like a gnome, so you have no point of reference.
I'm no longer the shortest person. Or maybe I still am.
No,
No.
you're tall. You should be taller than Toro.
Okay. So this is what it feels like.
Good to see you.
You're not much taller than Toro.
I assume you've known what it feels
But-
like to be tall for
but-
a while.
But at least, it's not that big of a difference.
No. I mean, who's the tallest member of the party? I think it's Dave.
Probably Dave.
Are you?
Either Dave or Akuma.
How tall is
I'm
Dave?
6'5",
I'm
6'6",
6'4".
roughly.
I'm
Did I write
6'4".
down?
I'm also
Yeah.
6'4".
Did I write down?
So we're just a party of massively tall people.
We were last time too, to be fair.
This is true.
Yeah, I mean that's why.
He's about 6'5", as well. I think they're about equal height.
So yes, you're surrounded by people. Who are
Those
just-
two, these two, then these two.
You're surrounded by people who are unnaturally tall. But now
Most of
He's
us are also
not unnaturally
foreigners.
tall. Duncan's not unnaturally tall.
6'4"?
He's just... Oh, you're 6'4"?
Yeah.
he's just big.
Yeah, I am, and I'm a lot bigger than I look.
So
I mean,
anyway,
My hair is the same. My hair is the same length as it was, just a different color. So
yes, he looks the most ridiculously out of place. You can immediately guess who he was, and he's just. But to be fair, he's also Galadir, and
I've got-
it makes perfect sense.
long black hair, blue eyes. I've got a leather biker jacket on with a flame with a band shirt on for the flaming skullfuckers. It's a very graphic. band
Thankfully,
shirt.
it's written in artistic enough font that at first glance you don't pick up on the profanity. But
Well, that's mostly just because it's like Gorgoroth AD font, which is really hard to read if you're not used to reading metal band names.
I say it's illegible metal font number 27.
Gorgoroth 25. And then just black leather pants.
actually,
and
it's also
boots.
written in Italian, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So, unless anyone speaks Italian, none of you can read it.
What it,
I'll count myself lucky for
I
that.
know for at least one of those in
It would be
Italian.
Verda. It would not Verda. It would Verda's floral. It would be Fiero.
Fuego.
No, not Fuego Spanish.
Yeah, Fuego.
Fiero.
Fiero.
I don't know what skull is, but something fortity.
Anyway,
Let me look it up. Hang on, I'll figure out what it says.
so you introduce
because
yourself.
now it's important.
So do you
It's
introduce
very
yourself or not?
important what it says.
Well, I go by Skylar Torres now.
Go there.
Tarell.
Oh,
You know who I am.
that's a few.
The way that you say that does not fill me with any form of confidence.
You haven't looked around, have you?
I know who you were, and that
He
tells me that I
still
don't
is.
want to look.
Do any of the rest of us recognize
Dr.
him from the
Tarasu, by the way.
posters?
Nice to see
Dr.
you.
How much
Dave.
attention do you pay to wanted posters? Do you have any politics points?
I don't think so.
Do you have any
You
fame
definitely don't look
points?
from around here.
I would.
Yes.
No. Does
I mean, actually,
No,
I
I-
would kind of look from around
I don't
here.
have any fame.
But I
That's a bad
look
thing.
Japanese.
I have
so-
arcane. It's a bad thing to have fame if you
Yeah, no,
also
I
have
have no
arcane.
politics.
I'm from the U.S., but
you have no
Yeah, no, I
particular
remember
reason
that, but I
to
didn't
know
know
the
what you
sixth
were-
most wanted person
Okay.
on the island?
I would know that from security stuff. Just going backgrounds on
People
the-
people who you should be concerned if they
Yeah,
walk
yeah,
into your
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I got to be looking for.
You
people
would
like that.
recognize. You don't
Well,
know
I know
who he
him.
is exactly, but you
No.
know that this is a person
This is one of
that.
the people I would be ready to bounce if I
No,
had to.
you don't bounce him. You
No.
do not bounce
No,
him.
I
You
said
call the
people.
police.
I said
However-
people watch him.
You have him watched.
Yeah.
As long as he's bringing money in,
Right.
they don't care how wanted he is.
The
Yeah.
the shirt, by the way, says "Fottuto cranio de fuki." Oh, sorry,
Perfect.
de fuoco.
The folk.
De fuoco. Fottuti cranio de fuoco.
So with that,
It sounds way better than
I would
Focus.
also
Hold
know-
on, hold on.
we're
Richard McSundy, if you would like to translate that into actual Italian as opposed to Google Translate, that would help.
Yes.
We have an Italian viewer in chat.
Hey! Represent. I don't speak the language, I just have the heritage. I want to learn, but
Italian is one of those languages, yeah, that you
I really
want
wanna
to
learn.
learn, yeah, at some point.
yeah.
So, Now you're all... So Gilda steps back. Alright, now you're all one big happy family.
Yahoo.
Could you repeat the name for him?
Flaming skullfuckers.
It's not subtle.
Anyway.
Now that we're all one happy family, let's have a little chat. So,
So we get out our
First
our
things
devices. Never mind.
first things first. Did she already hand you all the dog tags?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. So you already got the dog tags.
She has to give him one.
Does he
Those
have one?
will...
He probably has.
You've
might
had
already
one
have.
of these forever. You've got a pair of dog tags, by the way, on, and it was explained that the telepathic woman who has evaded this world will try to dominate your mind, and this will protect you from it.
Nice.
This was fairly recent. This was only about 2 months ago that this happened. She's been here for several years, and you've both known who each other are, like as untethered individuals, but it was only recently that she's like, hey, by the way, there's someone else here who shouldn't be here. So, obviously, you know about the telepath. Her name is Esmeen. Never seen her, though. All I know is that she's got a lot of magic and a lot of influence on a lot of people here. And she's looking for something. I was able to come across one of her cultists. She does have a small, devoted cult on the island. I don't know how voluntary the cult is, but they're very devoted. She's searching for something called Strafonio's Journal. From what we understand, it contains the secrets to unravel the threads of the universes themselves.
Do I know anything about Strafonio's journal? With my occult knowledge.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Actually, go ahead and roll me occult knowledge.
Difficulty?
Difficulty, we'll say 7.
All of us?
Anybody who's got a cult.
It would be a cult and...
Sure, I can try.
Intelligence.
Scopa, so Richard McSunday says, Scopa Teshi de Fuoco, if they are actually fucking a skull. Which they are. I was close. Cool.
What's
I have 4 successes.
One success.
the difficulty on this?
7.
7.
Thanks, Richard.
1.
Sorry,
2.
what was the difficulty in one hour one?
7.
Intelligence occult?
Intelligence occult.
Would my
Difficulty 7.
research specialization in intelligence help me?
This is not a research thing.
Okay. So, intelligence occult. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I don't know. I'm trying to do that eyebrow thing and I can't.
1, 2, 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay, so who got...
Oh,
My
2
my
were
left
10s.
side's a lot easier.
Yeah, explode your 10s.
That's right, 10s explode. I keep forgetting.
Oh yeah. And if you
2
have a
more
special-
successes.
If you have a specialization, the
So,
10s also count.
3, 4, 5. 5 successes.
I didn't have any more. Yeah.
Alright. What'd you get, Holly?
2.
And Zachary?
1.
Your specialization counts 2.
Yeah, they count as 2 successes.
Zachary and Holly, the two of you, you've never heard of the Cult of Strafonio before. The two of you, though, Akuma and Galadir, you have definitely never heard of this cult before, and you don't, to the point where you're like, that isn't a thing. Like, there's no...
That shouldn't exist, yeah.
Yeah, like, just based on the name Strafonio, there's no ancient deity or, you know, occult entity or anything that links to.
Would this journal happen to be something that is not native to this particular world?
Well, it's hard to get that from a cultist. If any of you know what happens to somebody who isn't untethered trying to learn about these things, might also explain why trying to diverge further into it started to have adverse effects on their minds.
Yeah, because that's not, as far from my research, which is extensive, the name means nothing.
Yes.
As in, doesn't exist.
So, to the best of my knowledge, then, Strafonio is another individual who is untethered. Or, potentially, an Ethivore.
But as far as we know, not connected to either the Chaos Lotus or the Diamonds.
Definitely not connected to the Chaos Lotus or the Diamonds. And as far as I can get across to Elrond, which is very limited because of the way he's trapped on a plane with an Ethivore, based on how he understands the laws of the universe, which don't even get me started on trying to talk to Elrond about the laws of reality in the multiverse, he would have had to have existed long enough ago in our timelines to have traveled here a long time ago in relation to the wood between the worlds.
So this
But when you-
individual is older than the conflict between the Diamonds and the Chaos Lotus.
Much.
So we've got a cult of people really associated with the Chaos Lotus, searching for the journal of an even older mage of some kind, or at least an even older Untethered of some kind, that may or may not exist in this world currently.
Correct.
And we're trying to stop them?
Well, ideally, we would find the journal first.
Right.
Right.
If it contains information of that caliber.
That's right. We were looking for tools to deal with Ethivores.
Yes.
Right.
So find book, stop them.
Yes. Well, if you
Throw
find the
books
book
at them?
first.
We throw books at them?
Yes.
I mean, that's a possibility, but not that book. We can literally throw the book at them, though. Yes.
Assuming,
Also
of course,
figuratively, we have a detective here.
assuming, of course, it is a literal book. We don't know that either.
So do we know anything at all? Or are we searching for clouds in a storm?
Well, unfortunately, I am not exactly the best at interrogations. Turns out, if you hit a man in the face with a wrench enough, he stops giving intelligible answers.
I don't think you need a doctor to tell you that.
Well, you know, I had limited tools at my disposal.
So you chose the wrench.
Do any of us have that particular skill set?
Yes.
Hello.
No offense, but magically prying the information out of their mind rather than intimidating them into talking.
Hello.
Okay. That would be the answer that I was looking for. Do you have thoughts in mind, sir?
I should actually, but I haven't taken them yet. But I
Oh,
need to.
by the way, how much experience did we get for last session?
No.
I'll roll it into the experience for this session.
Okay.
So you'll get doubled.
Cool.
So, that would be the short of it. The long of it is leads on the cult. Are you familiar with the Dark Horse Gang?
I know gangs.
Am I familiar with the Dark Horse Gang?
No.
Okay.
Not in the least.
What do I know about them?
So, you live on this island,
Yes.
and you live on this island.
Yeah.
The two of you know that the Dark Horse Gang is... No one on the Dark Horse Gang is on the most wanted list, because they're hard to pin down.
That's why they're called the Dark Horse Gang.
Yeah. They're one of the most influential gangs, but any specific details about them are hard to determine. Their size, size and number, what influence they have. Supposedly, they have a lot of influence in the casinos and the government, but again, for some strange reason, a group with influence in the casinos and the government is really hard for the government or casinos to pin down.
Strange coincidence, that.
Yeah. The two of you, the investigator and the gang member, roll me the politics.
Nope.
How do you...
So,
How many ranks? Do you have any ranks in politics at all? 2. And so roll me, so you have a number of dice equal to your intelligence and your politics. And this is hard to obtain information, so any die that is so roll that many dice, and any die that is an 8 or higher is a success, and any 10s are a success, and you can roll them again to see if you get more successes.
2 successes.
Intelligence and
No,
politics.
Yes.
3. Sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah. So number of dice equal number of dots.
1 success.
8 or better.
All right. So you've been on a couple cases regarding the Dark Horse Gang in the past. Members have been found. They don't tend to be high-ranking members of any establishment. It's not like high-ranking government officials. It tends to be paper pushers, people who still work in government offices and have access to government resources, but are not themselves important figures. The few that have been found and apprehended all seem to end up dead before they can go to court. You know that as far as a gang, they don't really care. They don't care at all about the other gangs in the city. They don't interact. They don't fight gang wars. They don't fight turf wars. They're not a gang in the traditional sense of what a gang is. They are a group of individuals who seek to exert force on the government directly, as opposed to staking a territory and making a claim.
They're a Black Ops organization.
Yes, but you don't know what. But they're not exactly a Black Ops corp or organization because they don't really have the same sort of goals that a Black Ops organization would. They are still a group of people who are led by some sort of hierarchy, but they're not, they're not looking to make their own space. They're looking to, they'd be the white collar crime as opposed to the blue collar.
Yeah.
White collar deniable ops.
So, the other thing that you would have an inkling to is there's not... So, ratio to population, there's more mages than you would expect on Saipan.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there are this many of us is more
Well,
mages than you would expect on Saipan.
But most of you aren't natives. Only three of the group. Well, no, 4 of the group you live on the island. Yeah, no. So yeah, part of it is Saipan is a resort island, and it's the high life in Saipan is really good, and it's isolated enough where people tend not to bother you. It's a good place for mages to go if they don't want to be bothered, and they want to, live a good high-end lifestyle, and they don't care about the problems with little things like electricity or clean water. Mages have solutions to that.
Also, the higher density of mages makes magic a little bit easier to pull off.
Yeah. So, from what you understand, mages don't typically involve themselves in gang violence because they're here to live it up. The Dark Horse Gang would be the exception. From what you understand, there is definitely links that there are mages among the Dark Horse Gang. Aside from that, there's only 2 other gangs that have strong suspicion of mage involvement. One of them more openly than the other.
One of them obviously being the blind beggars.
Yes. The rats.
The rats.
You strongly suspect, but you cannot confirm that there is at least a mage among the rats. And then the other one, the cutters are. The leader of it is prone to using vulgar magic.
Mm-hmm. The leader's an obvious mage.
Yes.
So what do we need to know about this Dark Horse Gang?
Well, I don't know a whole lot. I was hoping that...
Political intrigue, political control. They're not a gang in the traditional sense. They don't have territory. They don't have basic operations. They don't claim turf. What they do is exert control over politics, casinos, government.
And why bring them up?
Well, because the cultist I found had this, she says, pulling out a small leather bracelet.
That's a dark horse symbol, isn't it?
The bracelet, no. By itself, no. But you notice on the inside of the bracelet, there is a small impression of a severed, bleeding horse's head.
Got it, yeah. That's the dark horse logo, yeah. Means our cult is likely spread among the gangs.
That'll be fun. Oh,
Which means I need to have my lieutenant look into members of my own group, which is going to be fun.
worth noting, by the way, all of you, there is a mage hunter on the island. The two of you were there. Order the casket. Hunters that, in order to deal with us, graft parts of monsters to their bodies.
Demons specifically.
Monsters.
Okay.
Demons.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Because
They are resilient to magic's touch, and also to the invasions of the mind. So,
Learned the hard way.
in order to deal with this person, if they should show up, and I don't doubt they will, they don't care if people see them. They don't care if they draw attention to themselves or others.
Actually,
If they're trying to kill a mage.
yes, but do you know anything about... I'm trying to think what knowledge about hunters would be under...
Occult.
occult? Yeah, roll me some occult knowledge.
Sure.
It would either be a cult or enigma, usually.
Yeah, roll me occult.
4, 5.
What's difficulty?
We're going to go difficulty 6, because
Alright,
this is
that gives me one.
not abnormal
Success,
knowledge.
success. 4 successes.
Anybody else want to roll occult?
5 successes.
Alright, I rolled two 2 dice.
5 successes.
5 successes.
3 successes. I can roll it. Oh, 3 successes.
So you know that hunters... There is a price to pay whenever they use their endowments. Their endowments are their supernatural powers that are given to them by their order.
Their edges.
Yeah, their endowments, the more they use their endowments, the more that they have, the more that their derangement increases.
Yeah.
So, there is a price to pay for it. They will still do it, but there is a price to pay.
And after a certain period of time, they stop caring.
Well, the more deranged you get, the less you care about being deranged.
Yeah.
Basically,
Turns
they
out.
burn their
Turns out.
sanity as a weapon.
Yeah.
Yes.
This one in particular seems pretty...
He seemed pretty deranged.
The one that we fought seems pretty far gone as compared to most of humanity. I dropped an air conditioner unit on him and he shrugged it off.
Well. I'll just have to use it.
He deflected it with his demon arm.
Yeah, literally shrugged it off.
Yes.
I do believe you attempted to strike him with lightning at one point as well.
Yes, and he continued going after that, which is particularly impressive.
We're going to be hearing that on the news, I'm sure.
not necessarily.
My lieutenant will have some interesting things to
But
educate about that.
be aware, magic, direct magic, will more than likely not work, as we saw with the lightning.
How good are any of you without the use of magic?
I think outside the box. Also this, I say pulling out my gun.
Good.
Put it back.
That'll be useful.
Do the rest of you do have some kind of backup weapon in case things go bad?
Pull up my gun or something.
Of course.
Gun.
Law enforcement.
Yes.
I'm sure you've got something.
I am a backup weapon.
Right. That fits.
Doctor, I didn't sign up for this.
Oh, sorry. Gun in one hand, butterfly knife in the other.
I'm a doctor, not a weapon, damn it.
Now, and she looks over. Now, of course, you, I'm sure, got something. She says, walking up and stroking your arm, which she has to like reach way up for because she's 4'11", by the way, to clarify for you, Rudy.
Okay.
She is abnormally short,
She's almost dwarf height.
but she's definitely dwarf build.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or taking she's a dwarf.
Yes.
You suspect in her other lives she's a dwarf.
Yeah.
In the realms where that qualifies as a
As an actual.
As a fantasy race.
as a fantasy.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a concealed weapon, I say.
How concealed is the giant Bowie knife?
Yeah, it's in my back. It's
Okay.
stuffed in the back of my pants, but I've got the coat over it.
Okay. Do you have anything? What about you, girl?
Do you still have it?
You still have
She
it?
like yeah. She reaches in her purse and holds up a mirror shard.
It's a,
Is that still as
what do
dangerous
you
here
intend
as
to
it
do
was
with that?
before?
I don't know. I've only used it once.
It's dangerous.
Did it work?
I mean, well, I'm trying to remember. What did it do last time?
It turned the man into a shriveled, mummified remain.
It turned a man into a shriveled. So yes.
Oration.
I sort of tap the around my neck. I've got a bright ruby red sphere that you all recognize.
Yeah.
That is sort of wrapped in like a silver staff. It's like this just enhances my magical power.
You're not exactly sure what there was certainly your own innate magic involved in that, and using that
Okay.
mirror shard.
Yeah.
It by itself, you don't think is going to be a super.
But if
effective
I need to, I'll teach you some basic defensive techniques.
Okay.
May want to get something to wrap that around,
Yeah. Wrap. So you don't
so
hurt
that
your
you're
hand.
not carrying a broken shard of glass.
Well, she pulled it out of her compact, so
Yeah.
We'll turn it into a knife for you.
Okay.
I think that'd be a shiv at that point.
It would absolutely
be.
be a shiv, and I can tell you how
But-
to make several fun shivs.
It would be a ship, but I feel like something as potent as that magical artifact is worth being called a knife.
Well, Doctor, I'm sure you've got something about yourself, or do I need to get you something?
not a weapon per se. No,
Got a scalpel?
fighting people and saving the world. Okay, saving the world is kind of what I signed up for, but in a far more idealistic and metaphorical way.
Well, let me tell you something about this world.
Tell you what, Doc.
Ideals and metaphors, forget them. This world is trying to kill you, and there's nothing metaphorical about it. It just wants you dead.
Yeah, I kind of figured that out within the last few hours.
Tell you what, Doc. Don't worry about it. We'll go to a pawn shop and get you something nice.
Great.
If you don't want to learn how to break people with your bare hands, you'd best learn how to wield a gun.
Or a knife.
A gun.
A gun's probably better.
It's easier. Yeah.
I mean,
And it looks like you have plenty of people to show you.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always this, she says, walking up behind her counter, pulling out a baseball bat that has some odd dents in it.
I'd really prefer to remain looking trustworthy and not be covered in blood-stained weapons. Typically,
Also-
people don't trust doctors that have,
also he's got
gory
heavy arms, so.
bone saws.
How about a taser?
Ooh, bone saw.
I don't know how well it would work against one of
Have you
those
been
things.
to our hospital?
Yes.
We can get him a taser or something. It'll be fine. Yeah. Get him a little
Something.
stunt
You need
stick.
something.
Get him a taser and a baton if he wants to be non-lethal.
That's what I was.
We'll get him a taser. Don't worry. They're cheap. I know a guy.
Of course you do.
Guy for a lot of things.
I do. I know a guy for a lot of
I
things.
just have a lot
Are
of
you dropping stuff again?
Yes.
reevaluating my...
It seems.
Not reevaluating my life, reevaluating my lives, I suppose.
Lives.
Great.
It seems that the closest thing to elvenkind in this world are people that use modifiers to their perception on a regular basis.
Druggies.
So, I mean, that's a word for it.
Hippies?
That's another word for it. Although they're not real. The hippies implies a more peaceful solution, not necessarily copulating with a flaming skull on a regular basis. But it turns out there's a wide variety of people that modify their.
I do need to clarify one thing. Everybody in this room does speak English, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I speak 3 languages.
That's what we're speaking right now.
Okay, I just want to make sure there's no, language barrier going on.
That would be interesting.
That would be a really awkward party dynamic.
I'll see what I can talk to Night Venom about getting information on hunters. She's a little bit more familiar with them than I am.
Right.
Castigate, big demon arm, ugly motherfucker.
She's more of a... quiet type when it comes to that kind of work. But
So, where should we begin?
well, if we're
Getting
going,
him a taser.
we should get him equipped first, yes, and then we should see what we can track down about the Dark Horse and see how they've been infiltrated. I'll start investigations on my own group and see if I can single out any of these people among mine.
I'll try and keep an eye out on certain patient backgrounds, see if I can track down any injuries or victims that may relate to all of this.
If any of the Black Dragons have fallen under this mind controller's sway, I will need to excise them swiftly.
So, I may have just discovered magic a few hours ago and there are 2 dead bodies at my place.
You need me to dispose of those.
Yes.
I know.
We should all go over there and start carrying stuff out.
He pulls out a cell phone. I'll get back up.
Let's go deal with that first.
I'm already on it, as he's making a phone call.
Do you know where her apartment is?
Address?
She'll give it to me.
Oh, I know that place. That's a shot. Dead studio.
Yes.
Nice.
So there's one slight problem with the sheet that I printed out. This is all the stats for all the weapons.
Doesn't have
not
the
cost.
Not the resource
Not
cost.
the resource cost. I know tasers are like 1 dot, but I don't know about the rest of them.
Yeah, I have 3 dots
Common
of backup.
sense.
I have a
Yeah.
group of, I think, like 21 gang members, so I
Yeah.
forget what the exact number is, but I will basically
many-
call backup and
It's like a dozen.
How
Yeah, it's
many,
like a dozen
how many
people.
dots do you have in the gang?
I have
Or
3
backup?
dots of backup.
Yeah, that's an amount.
But I have a small gang.
It's an amount.
So I will put the call out for people to dispose of the bodies.
Alright.
It's locked.
Do you? I mean, if it looks like a break-in, it'll be less suspicion on you.
Okay.
I'll get it fixed.
Right. Okay. You, me, pawn shop. Let's go.
Alright. Also to clarify, it's about 8:30 now. So yes, you can certainly find the pawn shop. That's no problem. But
I'll make sure they break the smallest window.
Okay.
I could just pick the lock.
If
That's not an obvious sign. Obvious
Yeah,
sign.
you want
Obvious
to make
sign
it
of
look
a
like a
break-in.
break-in.
Obvious sign of a break-in. Throws
That way the
suspicion
cleanup
off the
will be
person
allowed.
in the house.
I should
Make sure to break the window from the outside.
Obviously.
They broke in to clean up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Who would do that?
You should have them. Do you have any valuables that you don't care about?
If she did, they wouldn't be there anymore.
That's what I mean.
do whatever you
Don't worry.
just make a
You'll
list.
be fine.
Make a list when you get home, and we'll go after
Can we
it.
stop interrogating the recent trauma victim, please?
No, I'm just trying to help her set up her insurance fraud scam.
I start walking out.
Take you over to a pawn shop.
alright, so you two are going to a pawn shop. What about the rest of you?
I know there's not much to look up, but I'm gonna see what I can find in the criminal database.
You gonna do that tonight, or are you gonna do it in your shift tomorrow? To clarify, it's Wednesday.
Is that yours?
No, it's mine.
Oh, okay.
Well, we're not gonna meet up until tomorrow, right? So I'll do it.
Do it tonight.
When are we meeting up again?
Oh, we should probably exchange cell phone information. I
Yeah.
said, pulling out my phone.
Right.
That might be good.
Does everyone have a
Yeah.
phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, why not?
We'll all exchange stuff.
Yeah.
Exchange
Real quick.
information.
Right.
All right.
Just be aware this phone number can change regularly.
Well, we'll
We
get
should
home.
probably all get a burner for each other, anyways, just because reasons.
Exactly.
We'll worry about that later, though. Just call us if we find anything. Meet up again tomorrow. We'll call if we're out of time.
Right.
Sure.
Also, I should clarify, says Gilda, if you need it, this is a nude. Not a strong one.
Good enough to draw
Cool.
some
We got one
quintessence,
too,
though.
so I'll make 2.
I'll maybe teach you about that.
It's a 1 dot node.
And my wherever I'm staying is also a 1 dot node. So
I mean, you can draw a bit of quintessence from it.
Yeah.
Wasn't my place also?
No, you didn't put any background points in
Oh.
there.
We didn't discuss that then.
We
discuss
did,
a lot of things.
but
yet.
you were talking about your background stuff.
Okay.
We can rejigger it if you need to.
We did,
Okay.
yeah.
That was something.
It's not incredibly relevant.
Okay.
Other people have access to nodes, so.
Okay, that's fine.
And you can draw. You can draw 1 quintessence from a 1 dot node per day.
And it's a prime 1
Yeah.
check.
Yep.
Prime 1.
If you have Avatar, you don't need to check. You just
Yeah.
you just passively absorb. I believe.
Up to your avatar
Usually
level.
Up to your avatar.
Up to your
level.
avatar
Yeah.
level?
If you want to go beyond that, you need to.
Yeah. Beyond that, you have to
Cue
start
magic.
rolling.
So having 1 dot in prime helps you build your titles.
Yeah. So like I can if I'm below 4,
Yeah, you can rebuild the 4
I
easily,
can
but if
rebuild
you
the
want
4.
to get...
if I want to get more than 4, I have to roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
and for anybody that doesn't have any avatar, if you want to get any quintessence, you have to roll.
So it is... So yeah, it's about 8:30. The 2 of you are going to a pawn shop. Where's everybody else? You're going back to the office and trying to use the resources to look up the
Yeah.
Dark Horse Gang?
Yeah.
All right. What are the other 3 of you doing?
Tarl's gonna go get Kai, because he's still with Tarn.
All right, so you're gonna do that.
He's cleaning up the bedroom.
What are you going to do, Akuma?
Well, once my men have confirmed they've disposed of the bodies, I need to go talk to Night Venom, because she's got more information than I do about hunters, and is probably going to be heading up the investigation of potential mine victims in the Black Dragons.
All right. And so what are you doing while you're waiting for confirmation of the cleanup? Are you going to...
I'm going to head back to the hideout.
Okay, and what are you doing?
She's
gonna-
Gora. She's not.
I'm just going to stick around and
Just
keep
assuming.
asking questions about all
Also,
this
while I'm here,
magic stuff with, what's her name?
Gilda?
Yeah,
before I
Gilda.
leave, actually, Gilda, do you have an extra one of those for my companion? Considering she came in with me.
You have a companion?
Yes, I need one for my son.
I'll have to work on making those. I didn't know about that. It'll take me yes, I can have 2 for you in the morning.
Good.
Thank you.
Right. I guess I better get to work enchanting. Beer first. She walks over to her fridge and pulls a beer out.
By the way, is there still a
That guy.
Yes, there's still a passed out
Scottish
Ren-
Viking
Yeah.
passed out on the
Passed out.
couch?
Renfest
We're just
Scottish.
ignoring him.
Yeah.
If you ignore him, he'll go away.
But he's still there. We've
Yes,
ignored him since we've been
but
here.
we haven't thought about him at all until just now.
I mean,
Which is like going away.
Don't worry, I'll deal with him.
Roll him into an alley somewhere.
I've just kind of been imagining all of our conversation. All of the pauses are just sort of briefly and vaguely occupied by the muttering of great drunken war tales.
Probably.
Get you outfitted.
No, we did our best to actually knock him out.
So let's go down the line. You're
He's
staying
unconscious.
here, Father. So let's
I'm going to
deal
stick
with you.
around. Okay, I'm just asking general questions and stuff, and like about nodes and things like that. Which she mentioned a node. and all
This
that
is a
stuff,
node here.
And, yeah.
So if you spend a while here, you can try to regain quintessence from it.
So, like overnight or what?
Do you have either Prime or Avatar?
I have Avatar.
All right. So yeah, you can regenerate points up to your Avatar in quintessence. But you haven't used any quintessence, have
I
you?
haven't used any, so.
So your
I-
quintessence will start at the level of your Avatar.
Which is, yeah, whatever it is. Okay.
So, yeah, you're
Yeah.
full on that.
So I'm just getting general information, hanging around.
Okay. So you'll do that. Let's go pawn shop.
Ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Yo, what's up?
Well, first of all, you're going to have to find a pawn shop.
Okay.
You're going to find the right kind of pawn shop because you're not native to this island. You're a visitor. And you've only been here a couple weeks, and I imagine you haven't been looking up shady pawn shops.
No, I am not.
You've probably spent most of your time
Maybe a
at
shady
the
pawn shop?
hospital or in the housing they've provided for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what would you like me to roll?
Ideally,
academics, cosmology.
streetwise.
Oh, I got streetwise.
Probably wits and streetwise.
Yeah, wits street,
Wits streetwise?
perception streetwise, because you're trying to find something.
3,
Difficulty 5. It's not hard.
2 successes. 2 successes.
All right. You walk down the streets up and down. You're able to figure out pretty quickly where you can get some stuff without any concern for legality or licensing.
That's good. That's good.
There's a strip. There's a small. It's actually, you have to leave this district to get to it. You have to go into the air to a Carolinian neighborhood.
Yeah.
There's a small grocery store that, grocery store, smoke shop, liquor store, pawn shop.
Cool. Stop first at the liquor store, actually. Get a bottle.
What kind of liquor you want?
Whiskey.
It's not the good stuff.
Don't care.
Okay.
Get a bottle. Actually, get two. I have the money for it. I'll get two. And then go to the pawn shop.
All right. As you walk into the pawn shop, there's a ding at the door, and there's a man standing behind it. He's got a very questionable array of items. They're not super well organized. There's shelves over here of stuff that are decorative. There's shelves over here of tools, basic home items. He's got a display case in front of him of, your stereotypical knives and stuff. The kind of things you see at the hardcore stores. Less functional and more, I want to look tough.
Yeah.
I'll take also the...
And there's also a whole bunch of other sorts of accoutrement that you would have at these places. The less than savory type stuff.
And also the jacket, coat, doctor's coat thing that I have. I'll, with the name tag on it, of course, I'll take that off and just kind of have it slung over my shoulder instead.
Okay. So you're just wearing, like, black pants, white button-up.
Cargo pants, but yeah.
Cargo pants?
Yeah, I had a bag if you want to put that in. I say, putting up the side of my messenger bag.
I've got pockets to spare.
He's talking about the coat.
The coat.
He's just coat.
Oh, the coat?
Yeah.
Sure.
Put your obvious doctor's coat in the bag.
Yeah.
That's where the bottles go.
You walk in. The man standing behind the counter he's got the dark skin of a Carolinian. You have no idea what that is. He looks sort of like Australian. Be close, like native Australian Aborigine. You've kind of learned the difference that he's Carolinian. They're the of the two natives, they're the less prestigious of the two natives. Carolinian is a much less commonly spoken language, but it seems like when you were in the liquor shop, people kind of looked at you funny because there was mostly Carolinians there, but here anything goes.
Okay.
All right. Buying or selling?
Buying.
Says the man behind the counter. He's looks like he's in his 50s, but he also looks like he has crushed more than one skull with a baseball bat. He's muscular. His hair is completely shot gray. His eyes are a little bit yellow. You suspect he's a chain smoker. He smells like it. All right. What can I do you for?
Looking around, I'm looking to see if he has any handheld, smaller handheld tasers.
You go up to the counter. Yeah, he's got some tasers, self-defense batons.
Yeah. I want to get one of those. Look at one of the weird, fancy-looking knives. One of those. And does he have any drug paraphernalia on the back? That's on the back wall or anything?
Roll me perception alertness.
1, 2, 3, 4. What difficulty?
6.
4 successes. 5 successes.
He's got some stuff that's not obvious. That's kind of behind his counter.
And some of that too.
Right. Knife, taser. Were you getting a self-defense baton? Or no?
What's your strength score?
My strength score is a 4.
Yes, I'm getting him a baton then.
Baton or a nightstick?
Actual
What's the
nightstick.
difference?
Nightstick has got the hold on it, so you can hold it against your forearm. Batons are collapsible.
Mechanically, there's no difference.
Yeah, mechanically there's no
Yeah,
difference. Just aesthetically,
Collapsible,
one's more
you can
concealable,
walk
one is.
around with it.
One's a tonfa, one's a club.
The baton is going to be much easier to carry in a pocket.
Yeah, probably that.
All right.
Something small, subtle, a self-defense weapon that a reasonable person would carry around. Because,
Self-defense baton. Okay.
A riot baton.
Yeah, you get a baton. You get a. You said you wanted a taser, a fancy-looking knife.
Yep.
How fancy but still practical, or just ridiculously fancy looking?
Fancy with the practical.
Okay. So you get one. It's got a hook to it that's actually really useful for cutting, like, cords or ropes or internal organs. But,
I don't like that list of things.
I do.
It's great for cutting seatbelts or people. Ligaments works great. Achilles heel cuts it every time.
Seatbelts?
You wouldn't.
You say gonna cut
You
seatbelts for a
can't
while.
really imagine
Yeah,
how
yes.
many times I've had to cut a bungee cord off of a giant mechanical skull.
And the fact that it hooks means that you don't just slice; you actually cut it.
Yeah.
So,
You know, out of the two of us, I'm sure I'm probably the one more used to using knives to slice into people, but I don't like the implications of using that knife to slice into people.
yeah, this is not the kind of knife you'd want to use to slice into somebody.
I'm a roadie. You have no idea how many kinds of things I've had to use to slice into how many kinds of people. For a variety of reasons.
There was a one tracheometry you had to perform when that person way OD'd.
Yeah, no, had to cut off the end of a couple of pins and like stick it in their throat so they could breathe until the meds arrived, until the paramedics arrived. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dirty, but it works.
All right,
Reevaluating my life's choices.
taser, baton,
Roadies save more lives than anyone ever gives them credit for.
He starts ringing in the register. 182.63.
I pull out a bundle of cash and stick it on the thing. It's like wrapped up too in like the bundle.
He counts it out. He puts it in one of those "Have a good day" bags with a smiley face on it. All
That's
right.
important. And the knife just falls out the bottom.
It's got a scabbard.
Yeah. Were you wanting a folding knife or a knifey knife?
No, I got a knife. Like
Knife
a
knife. Okay.
firm blade knife.
Yeah.
Put that
It's-
in my bag.
It's exactly 11.5 inches long.
Good.
It's not a 12-inch
Not a
knife.
Polish knife. Good.
So please won't harass
Technically
you.
legal.
As we're walking out, hand you, here's the stats
Baton.
for, you got a riot baton, and the damage, so difficulty is the difficulty it is to hit with that weapon, and the damage is the number of dice you roll, in that case strength +1.
Nice.
And
That's why I got you a baton, because you've got 4 strength.
dealing damage is always difficulty 6.
Yeah. And taser is going to be right here at the top of that list. So you can write those down in your gear. It's going to be page 3. Equipment owned or gear carried.
All right. What are the two of you doing at this point?
Well,
At this point, you've spent a little bit of time walking and looking. It's
Yeah.
after 9 o'clock. The sun is fully set.
you have a place to go? Do you want me to walk you back to it so we get jumped again?
How close would my place be right here?
It's about a 20-minute walk.
I go ahead and tell you where it is and ask if it's on the way to where you're going.
Everything's on the way to where I'm going. I'll walk him back to his place.
Yeah. You're going straight south
Yeah.
to the bottom near the airport.
Yep.
I'm assuming you're not staying in a resort suite.
No.
Okay, yeah, then you're going straight south. Alright. So you'll do your gig for the night. Okay. Let's go to you guys. Alright. William,
I don't know who he just pointed at. Okay.
You.
about...
No, he didn't point it
So
at
on your way back to the hideout, you get a call. Boss. There's someone who's not letting us do what we're trying to do, okay?
What do you got?
Creepy looking guy. About 5'10", real pale, jet black hair.
Oh, is he the guy who runs the clockwork shop?
Yeah.
I'll be on my way. Don't get in his way.
Right. Should we stick around or?
No, beat it. I'll deal with it myself.
All right. So at that point, this was only a few minutes out, so you're able to. Do you want to run to catch up with her, or do you?
Yeah,
run
I'll just sprint.
All right. So you run. As you're walking back to your home, Holly. Akuma is standing. Runs up and catches up from behind you.
Slightly faster than you think is possible, but you know.
He's jogging casually, but he's jogging casually at a sprinter's pace.
Okay. Yes.
our mutual friend in the clockwork business is hanging
Time.
around your house. So let's have a conversation, shall we?
Okay.
Alright. You walk back. As you get back to your studio, there's a note on the door. It's written in just beautiful calligraphic writing. It says, closed due to personal emergency. And it's got some details. Please speak with the clockmaker regarding any inconvenience this may cause.
Well, is he around?
No.
I want to know what they meant by he wasn't letting them do what they were going to do.
Well, I have to go to his place anyway, because Kai's there.
You want me to deal with this while you're getting Kai so you're not a witness, or?
Witness to what?
That's the point.
I'm trying to give you an alibi so no one has a reason to question you as to why your window got broken in.
Why don't we talk to Tarn first?
Sure, let's do that.
Maybe he already cleaned up.
That's yeah.
You walk over to the clockmaker shop.
Yep.
All right. All the stores on the strip are closed by now. It's a little bit after 9. But as you approach, the door opens.
You are way too open with your magic, old man.
No one responds.
I walk in.
You walk in. So you've probably never been in this shop before. You just know of it.
Yeah.
But
I know of it because there's a mage that runs it.
you don't know that. You don't know there's a mage that runs it. The door opened funnily. You could make a guess now in the way she spoke about it. You can make logical
I
assumptions.
just said Tarn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make logical assumptions, but you didn't know before he was a mage.
Yeah, you also know who Tarn is.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know who Tarn is, so.
As you look around the room, it is like these are not timepieces. These are artwork pieces. They are masterfully and perfectly made, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
This is not hip hop.
If you look closer, you find that the cheapest item you can find is there's a wooden clock on the wall that is labeled at $6,000. There's not a ton of items here, but every single one of them is just perfection of its kind.
Oh, the bank that one of these items can make on the black market.
You hear some
they can make on not the black
some
market.
footsteps from above you. And it sounds like Kai's awake up there.
Alright, Tarl's gonna go up there.
I don't think I have the other page necessary for this because I don't know what these stats mean because I can't see the top of that table.
You walk upstairs. I'm assuming you follow her.
Yeah.
As you reach
That's
the top
what
of the
I
stairs, you see Tarn is showing your son some paper folding techniques.
Okay.
And they're playing with some origami. Kai runs up and gives you a hug. Mom! Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine.
Okay. I've been having a lot of fun. Tarn's showing me some more origami.
That's nice.
And he gave me this, he says, and he holds up, he's got a ruby red pocket watch. It's, as you look at it, it looks like the base of it is gold, and the entire thing is encased in this crystalline, it looks like perfectly smooth ruby. And the clockwork is made of gold and ruby, and... Yeah.
Is that, I say, looking up at Tarn, was that on the handle of an axe a couple dimensions ago?
I have no idea what you're talking about. You notice he doesn't have it, but he's got himself a wristwatch that is made of something similar, but it doesn't have the gold. It's just straight the ruby.
Oh, no, that, okay.
So,
have you dealt with our problem that's still within the dance studio already?
what problem?
Good.
So, Faust, glad to finally meet you.
Takuma in this place, but yes.
Yes. Names are transient and meaningless. So, Toriel, I hope things are better.
Yes.
I was just helping to explain some things to Kai.
Uh-oh.
And I gave him a little gift, and he knows, if you're ever in trouble, Kai, what do? I open the watch and crush the face? Exactly. Kai looks a little confused, but he shrugged his shoulder and closes it back up.
And what will that do?
Well, Kai won't be in trouble anymore now, will he?
I don't actually know that.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it.
Look, you appear to have ticked off a rather important entity in the North Korean government. I don't know if you quite understand the implications of what you've done. It's ludicrously dangerous.
I'm sorry, he was trying to kill me.
Oh yes, no.
Is
He
dead?
deserved what he got.
Yes, he's
Good.
I think you might have to move out of your house for a bit.
So, and don't worry, I have written this up, he says, handing you a note. It's a perfectly forged doctor's note excusing your child from school for the next couple days.
How does Kai look, by the way?
He looks fine. He looks
Okay.
perfectly normal and happy. You can't tell that he was shot or stabbed earlier today at all.
Or a fox?
Or a fox. There's no traces of anything.
Okay.
You notice that there are a couple plates sitting over on the table. One of them is immaculately clean and, like folded napkins and everything, and the other one looks like a 10-year-old ate off of it.
Thank you for your assistance.
Not a problem. Always happy to assist when things like this go wrong. Now, there are other matters that, of course, we'll need to discuss. Kai, I imagine it is your bedtime. Kai looks up at you, kind of hoping that you say it's not, but he knows it is.
It is.
Akuma, would you do us a favor and escort him back? I need to speak with Torel privately.
Sure, I need to go get some information anyway, so I'll drop the kid off and then head back to my place.
Thank you. Oh, right. He waves his hand. The door's unlocked. Also,
way too open with that.
Your men are not particularly bright, are they?
No, they're not, and I'd appreciate it if you let them do their jobs, but...
Oh, but they're going to do it so poorly.
Fair enough. And he leaves.
Alright. Kai looks at you kind of confused, but before he leaves with this man he has never met before.
He's a friend, Kai.
Okay.
I'm just gonna take you home. I'll make sure you get inside. Make sure the door's locked. You have a key. I'm assuming you have a key to
in
your
your own.
Yes.
Yeah, you have a key to your own shop.
Here.
Yeah. I'll make sure the door's locked. I'll leave the key. So you have somewhere safe to put the key?
The door's unlocked already. You don't need the key, says Ton.
Fair enough.
To relock it.
It can be relocked from the inside, Gavadir.
No.
I'm not there.
Yes, but you hear that oddly.
I haven't smoked anything yet.
I'm just gonna make sure you get home safe, kid, and you can take care of yourself, and your mom will be back shortly.
Okay. You walk Kai back home.
Yeah.
Do you go inside or do you just...
I let him inside, make sure he locks the door, head over to
The door
my-
locks, he walks up to the back room. He's got a key for this, he unlocks it.
Yeah.
Walks up into what you assume is an upper apartment.
Yeah.
Alright, while you're on your way back, well, Torel, have a seat, he says, pointing, as he waves his hand. A chair pulls itself out from a table and up next to you.
She'll sit.
So let's discuss what happened earlier. I'm sure you have had a little bit of time to process it.
Yes.
You used magic, correct?
Yes.
Now, what did you feel?
What was there a particular feeling?
I don't know, what did your character feel when you stabbed your ex-husband and turned him into a shriveled up mummy?
You certainly dealt with that a lot faster than in the last game.
It happened so quickly. Power?
Yes. Power. But one of the things that you will learn about magic is that all power has a source. And the greatest power are in living creatures, he says. He walks over to a small cage. There's an insect in one, a living insect in one, dead insect in the other. Look at these beings, he says as he raises his hands. They both float in the air, the one struggling as it seems confused. Even a being this small contains the essence of magic itself. And this power is completely transferable, he says, as he closes his fingers and the creature slowly stops struggling. And he opens his other fingers, and the bug, which is just was crushed, reforms and begins struggling. 1 to 1, he says, and he just starts moving it back and forth between them. Roll me life. Your life and Arete.
Okay.
Hardcore mage players at home. It's supposed to be said art, but that's stupid.
What's the target number?
I think it is actually pronounced
6.
Arete.
I think it's art.
It is in the 20th edition. If they go off through, it says Arete.
Does it?
Yeah,
Good.
it actually gives the pronunciation in the breakdown.
Apparently it
That's
used to be art.
7
It's like,
successes?
that's stupid.
Oh, wow.
There are 2 E's.
You see, as he's doing this slowly, you can see a spark. Some amount of life force that is moving between the two. Something that you had never been aware of before. Something new and strange. Passing into him and then out of him into the other one. Back and forth. It's so small. But it's interesting. And as you see it in that, you begin to see it in everything else in the room. Not just, of course, there's a lot in yourself and Tarn and then these insects, but there's a lot in other places. There's a strange amount of life floating around in the air, microbes, organisms. It's even fainter than the bugs, but you can sense it. That lawn chair has a weird amount of life coming off of it, and it's really concerning you, actually. It's also kind of out of place. But that lawn chair's got a lot of life rolling off of it. Also, do not restrict yourself to those matters, he says, but watch deeper, he says, and he pulls. Both of the creatures dissolve into dust, and then he opens his hand, and a small green blade appears at the end of one of his fingers. He runs it along the cage, and it cuts through it perfectly. Roll me Prime and Arete.
Two successes.
You don't see it as clearly as the life, but as you look, you see something, some sort of strange magic. In fact, it is magic. You're not sure what to call it, but there's some energy, again, within the living creatures in the room. And, again, a whole lot off of that armchair. That lawn chair. It's really concerning. And as it flows, as you see the green glowing blade you created, is the physical manifestation of the life energy, or the magic energy pulled out of those insects. If you concentrate enough of it, it can have impact on the physical world.
Right. What's with the lawn chair?
He was causing some problems, so I figured I'd have some fun. Don't worry about it.
All right.
He seemed to make a joke about a mage could never pull a feat like that, and so I thought that he could spend a few weeks learning his mistakes.
Then afterwards, the blood hunt begins for Tarn.
That's gonna be fun for Tarn.
It will actually be fun for Tarn. Tarn was getting bored.
Alright.
Kill a vampire every day.
Tarn in this world dies after 50 vampires descend on him.
No, I'm sure you have to go to bed, but I would love to teach you about this. You can't disagree. It's an incredibly practical skill.
No, it is. I would like to learn.
Well then. Would you want to start tonight or get some rest? You've had a long day.
I think I need to get rest tonight.
Very well. Come see me tomorrow.
Alright.
Also, understand that it will be difficult for Kai to accept these things quickly. He will absorb things slowly, but he doesn't fully understand exactly what happened.
Okay.
So, be simple.
I will.
Good deal.
Don't start turning cats into rats right off the bat.
All
What
right.
about rats and cats?
All right, it is 8 o'clock here, so we're going to take a brief 5-minute break. And we will be right back,
Break
resuming
time.
with these two.
These two?
What about those two? theoretically I can use forces to live.
And we're back.
Anyways,
So, let's pick up with...
Did this camera get bumped?
Nope. Let's pick up with investigations with Skylar.
All right.
Shyler.
So, you get back to the office. It's around about 9 o'clock, but there's almost always somebody on duty around here. You notice that Yaren is sitting over at one of the computers, typing away at it. He seems like he's having a bit of a hassle with something. Aside from that, there's a couple other investigators kind of leaving at this point, but there's not much of a night crew here.
All right.
But the place never really... You've got a key. The place isn't closed down.
Yeah.
Ask Aaron what's up. I want to know how much my fire kicked him off.
So you walk in and like the only person who's really working at this point is Yaren.
Okay. I go to. I'm just gonna go.
Go to the
right away
databases.
and start doing the database.
All right,
first.
roll me intelligence research.
Intelligence 3 and research.
Research is an ability, I think.
It's a skill, yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, it's a skill. Yeah, whatever.
Abilities are skills.
Talent,
Skills are abilities.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
Yeah. Talent, skills, and knowledge.
What am I rolling for?
You're trying to hit 6 because you're just using a computer.
That's only one, but
1 success.
Yep.
I mean, these people are good at their jobs. There's a half dozen cases that show up in the files that say, may be correlated with Dark Horse involvement. You can take the cases down, but you can't find any information about how they're involved or what they did. Just that
they might.
Yeah, these cases. You've worked here long enough. You know that it's sort of we don't know what happened, and there's no reasonable way to find out what happened. So it was probably the Dark Horse, and motive is just going to be a mystery.
All right.
A lot of these cases go cold.
I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna look for like the most recent stuff and get that down.
Sure.
Like,
There's two cases that have happened within the past month. One of them involves the illegal purchasing of a bunch of weapons. There's been somebody who's been selling weapons on the black market, and they caught the weapons in shipment, but they don't know who they were intended for. But they were going to one of the Joetin stores. And for those of you who don't know, the Joetin family has their hands in every kind of business. The automobile purchasing place on here is Joetan's Autos. Joetan's is the Walmart. The Joetan's is there's a Joetan's grocery store. There's a Joetan's wholesale shop. There's a Joetan's drink shop. There's a Joetan's restaurant. I'm not making this up. Joetan literally owns all of the commercialized industry on Saipan. It's ridiculous. So it was going to one of the Joetan's shops, but that means almost nothing because they've got their hands in everything. Specifically, it was going to end up at one of the Joetan's wholesaler on the northern end of the island. But the other case, and that was about a month ago. The other case was only last week, and this one happened at the Royal Pacific Casino and Resorts. And it was a case where somebody was found. They suspect he was drugged. He couldn't remember where he was, but there was no evidence of any sort of physical wounds. So it's they suspect he was drugged. He didn't have any money or information on him, and he was a recent winner of the lottery. They can't really figure out what was he might have had some petty cash on him, but he doesn't remember anything that happened for the whole night. So you don't know if he won it big at the casino and he lost all his money. He was found with nothing of value on him, though. So they suspect that he won it big. The suspicion is that somebody seduced him or gave him a drink or did something to get him up into one of the resort rooms that was not his and then took everything he had. But it's way too clean to have been casual. Like, it was a very clean operation. Like, again, no physical wounds, no injury, no traces of any known drug in the body, which was the biggest thing. They did a whole bunch of blood work on this guy. They couldn't find any traces of any known drug that normally would stick around. And his memory is too cleanly cut off for normal drugs.
For a normal drugs?
Yes,
for a normal drugs.
For a drugs.
For a drugs.
You suspect...
Excuse me, officer, I would like to order 1 drugs.
You suspect that the marijuanas would be insufficient to cause this.
I would like 1 Mary Jane.
So, you're able to find that within the next hour, and then it's starting to get
photographer.
really late, and at this point, Yaren stands up. Skylar, right?
Yes.
What case are you on? The guy's name was Robert Dowry.
The one from the casino?
Yeah,
Okay.
in case you wanted a case name.
The dowry case.
Yeah, that'd be the Dowry case.
Robert Dowry?
Dowry. D-O-W-R-Y, like you pay a woman's dowry.
Yeah. The dowry case.
Oh, that one. That's a right headache.
Seems that way.
Thankfully no one was hurt, and the man still has most of his money in the accounts, so... I suspect that what's going to happen is the department's going to declare that the resources are better spent looking on other things, and it's just going to continue to get shunted off to the side and basically ignored. And if the man raises a complaint, well, we'll make some sort of mention of efforts on our behalf, etc., etc. He doesn't seem to care that much, though.
I mean,
He won the lottery.
He just made it big.
He's living cloud 9.
Would you?
I don't know how much money he'll have left by the end of this trip, because winning the lottery and going to gamble some more is, well, fiscally irresponsible at best.
I would agree.
But no, I appreciate someone looking into this.
Yes, it's a very strange case.
Yeah, I'm sure it's been labeled with the dark horse pattern like every other case is if they don't have any idea who did it and they don't really want to research it.
Yes, I thought I might have a look, but it doesn't look like there's much to go by.
I've looked into a lot of the dark horse stuff, so if you need any information, I'm always here. Though it's late, so I'm not going to be here right now.
No, very well.
Did you hear about the fire?
What have I heard of it? Yeah.
You heard that there was a fire.
I heard. I just heard chatter around the office.
Someone burnt down old Carl's place. I mean, he had it coming. There were no lives lost that didn't need to be gone. But
He's a World of Darkness cop. He's a World of Darkness cop.
Yeah. But it would have been nice if it had been done in a, I don't know, clean way.
That's not how I do things.
Something just...
A little less messy.
Look.
Any idea who might have done it?
Oh, yeah. But it doesn't matter. So we're not going to worry about it. I've dealt with it.
All right, then.
Giant neon sign.
Roll me willpower.
Willpower?
Yeah.
Ooh, he's gonna magic you to not think about the case. It's clearly not important. Jedi mind trick.
This is not the case you're looking for.
Where's willpower?
If you didn't put any points into it, it starts at 5.
Okay, yeah.
Always looking for 6s for rolling willpower defensively.
Yeah. Any sort of opposed roll is 6s.
Yeah.
6s, unless there's like some sort of weird modifiers.
That's 2.
Yeah, it's not a problem. If he's handled it, it's good.
Don't worry about
A thing.
Anything.
It's,
Every little thing is going to be alright.
Right. Well, like I said, I'll be here first thing in the morning if you want any help on the dowry case.
all right.
I gotta go make one more pit stop. Night.
All right.
And he turns and walks out.
I have a thing I'm doing when I get back to my apartment, by the way.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm just gonna get what I was able to gather up and
You print off some reports, get all the details.
that way and head out.
Alright, is that it for the day? You heading back home?
Yep.
Alright, head back to your apartment. How many resources do you have? How many dots?
2.
Okay, you have decent sized apartment, but nothing to write home about.
Yeah.
Okay. And Akuma. So where are you based out of?
The actual hideout is probably somewhere in one of the more run-down, less popular areas. Probably a decent-sized warehouse that's officially like a what's the term?
You probably got one of the old bunkers where they were hiding a bunch of Chinese slave labor.
Yeah, officially. That's
Sorry. Legal Chinese immigrants who are given work visas and paid the minimum wage of $1 per hour for 12-hour shifts, 7 days a week.
but the
Yeah, that got shut down.
it's probably a place that's been condemned, basically.
Yeah, so you can find one of those on the northern end of the island. The giant Levi sign still blinking. The factory's still in operation, but they haven't bothered much with their shipping crates turned barracks.
Yeah.
You walk in the door. So did most of your gang live here, or?
This is where they spend most of their downtime. If some of them have homes, they're welcome to have homes. But anyone who doesn't have a place to stay is welcome to stay here.
About 8 of the people end up staying here most of the time. Then, as you walk in, hey boss,
Good to see all of you.
did you get that thing figured out?
Yeah, it's solved.
All right, good to know.
The clockmaker is trouble we don't need.
Give me the right creeps he does.
Yeah, he should.
By the way, do you speak Japanese in this? Most of the people here are you.
Yeah, it'll mostly be Japanese in here.
Okay, so yeah, you're speaking Japanese. Gives me the creeps he does. Right. Well, if you got that handled.
Any outstanding business coming up?
Well, looks like we're about to hit a storm in the way that we just burnt down old Carl's place of operation.
Don't worry about that one.
I think we might need to lay low for a bit.
Keep it petty. Nothing big.
Right. Bare essentials. Keeping the pantry stocked. He says pantries. He's, of course, referring not only to the food pantries, but the munitions.
Yeah. Anything that shines, leave it by itself for right now.
Whatever you say, boss. I hope you at least got something good off of Carl.
Satisfaction.
He was.
But we're moving up. Think of the power vacuum. There's going to be a lot of empty space that needs to get filled in.
Yeah. You can get in the top 5 pretty soon.
Well, I think I just took number 6 by default. Meanwhile, where's Night Venom?
She's in the back, hogging all the internet.
Of course she is. Alright, and you go talk to her. If anything comes up, let me know.
Will do. He sits back down. He's rigged into the surveillance cameras that Levi's got around, and he keeps an eye on the grounds.
Good to know. So I head into the back.
Gora, or would you call her Night?
Night Venom is her last name from the original world. She probably has a different first name now.
Looks up at you. Would she call you Akuma or would she call you Kuro?
Probably call me Kuro.
Oh, you're back, Kuro.
Good to see you.
I take it everything went well with old Carl.
No, that's been solved. It felt real nice. I needed that.
Yeah, you're gonna need a lot more. The cutters have been moving lately.
Yeah.
They seem to have figured out the power vacuum very quickly, and they're looking to move in on his territory.
Speaking of moving in, what do you know about, on your side of business, the Order of the Castigate?
Oh, them, she says, looking over, making sure that there's no one else in the room.
Mm.
Nasty group they are. Graft demons onto themselves. Very much whatever it takes organization.
Well, apparently they've got at least one agent who's moved onto the island and started picking the fight.
Didn't know there were any other hunters on this island. I mean, I'm not surprised. There's lots of mages here, but for the most part, not many Farah or... Well, there was the one vampire that was around here a few years ago, but about 2 months ago he vanished. No trace.
Well,
roll me, by the way, a retroactive...
perception and occult, or...
Actually, what spheres do you have?
Life, forces, and time right now.
Difficulty 8.
Life and Arete.
Yeah, life and Arete.
Duh! 2 successes.
Okay. You would have picked up something strange up there, but there was a lot of strange stuff in that room.
Yeah.
Like, there was a magical maelstrom going on in that room, so...
I'm sure it ran afoul of one of the mages.
Well, that's a load off our backs.
But I have to keep an eye out for the Castigate who's walking around.
I'll see if I can send some feelers out. Pick up. You think he's still with the Order of Castigate, or is he deranged?
He looked. I mean, according to feedback that I got from the people who encountered him, he looked rather off his rocker. But
all right, I'll see if I can get any contacts in with the Order themselves. See if they've got any members who have cut loose recently.
And then, second bigger problem. Do I know if she's awakened to her nature as an untethered yet?
You wouldn't have any reference of knowing, given that you only just awakened yourself.
Oh, yeah. Secondary problem. We've got something a little bigger than all the gang business, if you know what I mean. We've got information on someone with some incredible mental control powers.
Another mage?
Maybe. A little bit beyond what I would normally expect a mage to be able to do. But from what we've heard, she's got hands in a number of gangs, including the Dark Horse.
She's got hands in a gang that we don't even can't even pin down then.
Yeah. What I'm going to need you to do, I've got an associate who's got some protections that are being put together. I'll have something for you tomorrow, but what I need you to do is start investigating our gang and keeping an eye out for anyone being odd. If she's got one of our members under her sway, that needs to be dealt with immediately, or we will start leaking information to her.
Okay. When you say she seems fine with it until you say dealt with, and she doesn't like what has to be done in that regard.
Yeah. If you can find a different option, take it, but I don't know how to solve that.
She nods grimly and turns back to her computer that she's got set up. It's janky looking on the outside, but it runs a runs a database.
Mm.
She's also one of the few people on the island who, you're one of the people who own computers. Most people just use their cell phones.
Yeah.
Personal computers are not common around here, but it's a whole lot easier for, browsing things.
Yeah.
and she's hooked herself into the Wi-Fi off of Levi, and she's worked herself through a couple different IP addresses so that they can't be tracked.
Mm-hmm.
But she's not the computer's expert. Somebody else set it up. She just uses it.
Yeah. And so, we've got 2 leads that we need to track down to try and solve that case. First, anyone in our group that needs to be dealt with, see if we can get any information if there is someone. Hopefully there isn't. But beyond that, if she's got hands in the dark horse, that's probably one of her best assets, so we need to start finding them. We need to stop having dead ends.
What about Cutter's gang?
She's probably got someone in the Cutters, which means that we've got a new opportunity as well.
Just be careful. They're too ostentatious for their own good. But the fact that they're still around after being that ostentatious says something.
Yeah. Their leader's too obvious.
Yeah. And somebody that obvious, that violent.
Should have exploded by now, yeah.
Or Yeren should have decapitated him.
Yeah. Which means that there's something that's keeping Yeren at bay, which is not something that I like.
Nope.
I may have to have a conversation with the sheriff at some point.
Yeah. By
Maybe
the
at
way,
church.
could someone explain what his jurisdiction is?
I don't think anyone knows.
Roll me willpower.
Okay, I found because it's relevant for me, I found the damage chart for magic effects.
Huzzah!
Maybe.
Successes determining
Yeah.
the multiplier on the damage. So like if I get 3 successes, times 2, that's 6 damage, etc.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I'll get a copy of this for you
5,
once
6.
I can get home and do
Damn.
stuff.
7 successes.
He's the sheriff. Duh.
I didn't think it would work, but
This is
Well, he also rolled ridiculously well.
This also determines the duration and effect
Yeah.
of like mental effects and things like that.
yeah, it's. I don't think anyone knows his real jurisdiction. He's just the sheriff, as far as anyone's concerned.
I mean, you know his jurisdiction. His jurisdiction is the sheriff.
His jurisdiction is the sheriff.
It's not how Akuma words things, but yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, no. But
The sheriff is an actual political like appointment.
yeah. She has some weird catch up with Yeren. She doesn't seem to like. She respects him. She seems to like him, and to a degree, but she's always pointing out weird things about him that are completely irrelevant.
I mean,
She's really hung up on that claymore he has on his back, and you can't figure out why. He's got a claymore on his back, duh. It's not a big deal.
I trust your instincts. Just keep an eye out.
All right. Anything else you have to do for the evening?
I think that's mostly it.
All right. And
Other thing.
John.
So when I get back to my hotel, I assume it's like one of sort of one of those long-term hotels, like you rent out a room for like years at a time kind of deals.
You found what's got a weekly payment.
Yeah. Get in. Open, close the door behind me, lock it. And because there is a mage hunter out loose, I'm going to take time to. I'm going to use forces and prime to lock a reverse gravity effect on the entryway and all the windows, so that anybody that comes through them before I deactivate the effect in the morning just gets launched up to the ceiling and held there.
Trying to decide if that's vulgar or not.
It's not vulgar until it activates. Because you cannot see that a spell has been cast there.
That's fair. If someone steps in it, though, you might start getting paranoid.
Yeah, if somebody steps into it, that's a different thing. But
so yeah,
if somebody breaks into my room and steps into the anti-grav trap, then
Housekeeping.
they're the door's locked, so and I have a do not disturb sign.
If you're in an extended stay, they won't come in.
I make sure the do not disturb sign is on the door.
Yeah, they come in, they tidy up once a week.
Yeah.
Right.
After you pay.
4, 5.
And it's usually while you're out.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll last all night.
Okay.
It'll actually last for a day, but I can deactivate it later.
Yeah.
So I just sort of have this. I basically just have an anti-grav trap on all the entrances in case anybody decides they want to break in and try to kill me.
All right.
Because forces can do some funny stuff. You can use forces to make your punch feel like a truck.
Yeah.
You can use a lot of things to make your punch.
Even
That's fun way I have
even if you only have a strength of 1. Pink. Sorry. So yeah, I was setting anti-grav traps in case somebody decides they want to mess with me.
Seems fair.
And then I want to inspect the drugs that I got, the stuff that I got from the pawn shop.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see what it is. Because I know people have been talking about ice recently.
Yeah.
So.
So what you've got is mostly the paraphernalia for it. Roll me research or either research or streetwise to figure out.
I can research.
Research.
I'm assuming my research specialty counts.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. What difficulty?
We're gonna go with 7.
1 success.
Hold on while I very quickly Google how you use ice. I don't know much about drugs. Taking ice as a drug. Let's just Google that right now while we're streaming.
Yeah. Welcome to a watch list.
Hello, FBI. If you're watching, this is for a tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
Not real life. World of Darkness gets more people on FBI watch lists than anything else, really.
Interesting.
When you have to Google, what is the legality of digging up a grave?
How do you use ice? Okay.
Well, you put it in a nice, refreshing drink that you want to be cold.
This you know, that's actually not the first result that came up, unfortunately.
yeah.
So this particular device, it's one of those, whatever that glass chamber with the pipey thing out of it. A bong.
It's a bong.
And there's some traces of drug, but you can tell the most recent one was ice.
Alright.
Just keep forgetting you used bong.
What do I know about ice? Just in my
if you're a groupie, he has. I mean,
yeah, like in my
you
drug culture awareness.
Yeah.
You pretty much have
What
it.
do I know about ice?
That should be a gimme, unless he's not doing his job.
Yeah, it should be, because I have to know how to get people off of it.
So ice is
It's meth.
it's a couple different kinds of meth.
Yeah,
There are
it's a
differences
mix.
between ice and meth.
It's specifically crystal meth. It is crystalline. That's why it's ice.
Yeah. There are 4 kinds of ice.
Before.
Yeah.
Typically around here, you're either getting... There's a lot of speed going around here.
I'm having flashbacks to health class.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the last time I read about drugs was health class. The last time I learned anything about drugs was during government
Public
mandated
school.
learning.
Exactly.
Sure it was.
But they won't teach economics.
Yeah.
Or how to write a check.
Yeah, I mean the simple stuff.
Anyway, so yes.
No, I mean, they'll teach you how the government does economics, they just won't teach you how to do economics.
Yeah, they won't teach you personally. So
So
yeah,
it's a form of crystal meth.
it's yeah, a form of crystal meth.
Okay. Good to know. I didn't know if I was like, this is some sort of magic super meth that people
No.
are pushing
Super
around.
meth!
This isn't magic. In fact, the purity on this is really quite abysmal.
Okay,
Like, this is definitely some street nonsense.
got it.
You do know that ice is typically Australian. It's more commonly just straight meth in other countries.
Okay.
But ice is it's more popular in Australia, and you're assuming these island ranges by
Got it.
By proximity, yeah.
Yep. I put the bong in plain view somewhere.
just falling out.
I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
Because any
Put it
cop
up.
that walks in is going to hit the ceiling.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, is that a long blue
upside
You
down
must
on the
be
ceiling.
seeing things.
Upside down the ceiling. Is that a bomb? Officer, I don't know what you're talking about. You're sitting on the ground. Why do you think you're on the ceiling? Oh. Are you on drugs?
Am I on drugs? Are we all on drugs?
The world is drugs. Anyways, but so yeah, a little bit of that, and then
World of Darkness, not quite World of Drugs.
head to go to sleep.
Alright.
And I will passively regain 1 point of quintessence in my talisman
Yes.
because it just fills up.
Anybody else have anything to do before they go to bed? Oh, Torel, when you walk, do you check out your office before you go to bed?
Yes.
There's a pair of trees there, like potted, nice little potted ficuses.
Is the blood still in the carpet?
Nope.
Okay.
Okay.
You got a pair of potted plants.
But one of the trees does have an interesting, like, red flower bud. A few red flower buds on it that are, like, perfectly blood red.
Yeah, blood ficus.
You can't identify these types
Blood
of trees,
ficus.
by the way. They don't seem to be native to the island, or, as far as you're aware,
What does she
anywhere you've ever
remember
seen.
from the other? I mean,
Okay.
Ficus. So we all go to sleep.
Everything else looks normal?
Yeah, that's perfectly normal.
Okay, she's going.
You notice that your accounts sheets have been pulled out, and there's been little notes marked on them. Apparently, the people who had dance classes today, who you completely forgot about, Tarn did manual reimbursement of them for their month's fees to compensate for the inconvenience out of his own money. To make sure that,
Okay. She's going to bed.
Tarn likes you, for some reason.
Yay!
You're the only other Verbena on the island.
So we all go to sleep.
You all go to sleep.
To be fair, this party isn't as diametrically opposed to Tarn as the other party was. Except for
Okay,
you.
the party as a whole, maybe.
Except for you.
Alright, so in the morning...
I think the party is just as opposed to itself.
I check my
so-
traps. Have I caught anything?
No.
Good. Okay. Just
So it's Thursday morning.
There's this poor cow.
How many of you are going to work as usual?
Work.
Yep.
I mean, obviously,
You have a fun
two
job.
of you don't have your kind of...
Work.
You don't have a typical day job. You're on vacation.
Yeah.
So the rest of you, how many of you go to work as usual?
Me.
I go to work.
You go to
It
work.
doesn't involve work.
You go to work.
I'm gonna
Go to work.
I don't know what my assignment would have been. Or,
You would have
they do
been...
consulting things. I don't know.
You had an engagement to go in and check up on the security. They're building a new casino, and you would have had an engagement to go in and just check up and see the building is built. But
I show up for like 6 minutes and then take off.
yeah,
You
sure.
know, I
Walk
mean,
around.
Just make it look like I know what I'm doing and split.
Okay. What about you? Do you open your dance studio, or do you keep it being closed?
She's gonna keep it closed for.
Okay. Tarn's already reimbursed
Okay.
all the people on your list anyway.
Then she's good.
Okay. So, the two of you go to, the three of you go to work. We'll address that first. So first, are you a morning person or not?
Yeah, pretty much.
So you arrive there in the morning. Hey, Duncan, says the security contractor there. Hey, do you know what's up with Elizabeth?
Well, what happened?
She cut her shift halfway through last night. Said something was wrong. She wasn't feeling great, but
No.
she hasn't pulled a sick day in 4 years, and it was that one time. She's a little concerned.
Did she call in this morning?
Yeah, she's not coming in today.
Okay.
I mean, she's got about 6 months worth of sick days of vacation to use up, but
Okay. I just kind of.
just curious. She hasn't talked to most of us, so
Yeah. That's fine.
she hasn't talked to you much either.
I don't really. I don't worry about it.
You do
I
know
just-
it's
I just
unusual for her
remember-
to skip out on work.
Right. But I'm just
Again,
gonna.
she's worked there since she was 13, and she's had one sick day about 4 years ago.
Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about it.
Okay.
I'm just pretend that it's not a big deal at this point.
Also,
I'll look into it eventually.
She's high on crystal meth.
she's super not a druggie.
She's currently high on mind control.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe. I'll just keep the name in
Or
my back of my
high
head.
on stabbed in an
I don't-
alleyway.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just not gonna tip anybody off.
That's,
You tried?
that's pretty much of a downer, actually.
No.
Yeah.
Also, it depends
It's
on
a
the
downer.
knife.
That's a downer. You don't get high on downers.
Depends on what the knife's made of.
All right. So in the
What do I
hospital,
with?
are you checking anything differently than you would normally, or
Yeah.
I
like
I
you
wanna-
otherwise other than that, your security inspection? Yeah, no, they.
Yeah.
You're literally here because you have to show up every day to consult, but oh look, there's nothing here to keep safe. You're installing cameras. You're putting a safe in the
For sure. Yeah. That's all I do. I just show up, just let people know that I'm on their back. and
I've
then I
been
leave.
here. I am watching you. I'm
If you
now
want-
leaving.
Yeah, the consultant thing. So your job is either all in. Oh my goodness, we had a break and I have to do a complete overhaul and need to work 100 hours this week, or
Right, or it's
Okay.
fine. I'm out of here.
yeah,
Or let Sam do it.
yeah. So Dave Tarasu.
Dr. Dave.
Dave.
Work as normal, or are you looking for anything in particular today?
For the most part, work is normal, but I will be sort of, from now on, I'm just going to be keeping an eye out for, because I imagine cases of gang
Roll me
violence
perception
and overdose.
and a violence. A violence.
A violence?
Perception and awareness.
I can do a violence.
Where's my violence skill?
I have many of violent skills. Which one would you like?
Right there.
Oh yeah, it's my name.
Potion seller.
No, the whole sheet.
Oh, it's just the whole character sheet. Sorry.
Potion seller.
That's your
Give me
violence.
your most violent potion.
You can't handle my potions, traveler.
One success. Basically just looking out for any mentions of familiar gangs or any mentions of stuff that we've just discussed, essentially.
What spheres do you have?
Life, matter, and mind.
Roll me Arete and life. Difficulty 9.
Arete and life? Okay.
Unless your mind is higher.
No, my life is higher.
My mind.
Mind is 2, life is 3.
I have no mind dots in mind, but my mind is higher.
What do you want
Difficulty
today?
9, you said?
Difficulty 9.
Life, dude. One life.
2.
Never heard of that truck before.
2 successes.
Nice. So things are going pretty normal until
Is it?
you get to
God,
one
that's the same as the
particular
next one.
individual.
He doesn't have to take drugs to get
He's Camaro,
each one like gonna drink.
middle-aged, from records, about 42. He looks nothing abnormal, a little bit overweight,
Memes are
and
memes are a tool for
he
magic, by the way.
appears to have suffered from a heart attack. You can gather he's got a high-stress work life, and he doesn't.
Okay.
He's overweight, high-stress work life. He's pretty high up in the board of directors building the casino, and he appears to have suffered a heart attack.
Your mind explodes, literally.
But there's scientifically, you would write it off to a number of other factors. But since you've been told and looking for things, there's no magically you can sense
Making memes manifest.
you can sense there is nothing physically wrong with him that caused this. He just had a heart attack. Roll me
So
mind and Eric.
Is he currently still dealing with repercussions of this, or did he die, or...
Well, you have you can save him right now. He was literally just brought in, and like this is one of those guy was brought in, and
Guy was brought in, had a heart attack. Something about a death note.
he was your awareness, like you caught something was weird and you sensed it as this thing was being driven taken past you. You are not the doctor on his room currently.
Do I know which one he's going to?
But you're a renegade doctor who has to listen to the rules, man.
You're also the only good doctor on the island.
I gotta say, damn it, I save a life. I don't care about your regulations.
Where is he going off to?
He's going to the cardiac ward, which has 6 beds.
You are the.
So it's not hard to find.
You are the Dr. House of this hospital.
House MD.
Dr. Dave himself.
Dave MD.
Just do a laying on of hands and get him out of there.
Dave MD. Come on, Dave.
Alright. So externally, though, it looks all the exact same, essentially, as what a heart attack should be looking like.
He had a heart attack. A heart attack happened, but the cause.
There's no trigger.
There's not a standard trigger. You can't, like, you can predict when things are coming on with medical equipment. If this man had had a full cardiac evaluation 5 minutes before this heart attack, he would have checked out fine.
You know what, let's do this. I'm qualified. I'm going to start following along and investigating what's going on, and to the people that are wheeling him past, I'm just going to go ahead and bring up some old obscure case that I'm sure they probably haven't heard of, and say that I've seen that the symptoms don't quite seem right, and then I want to take an extra look at what's going on.
Manipulation. Tell me what skill you want to use, and I'll tell you how fitting it is. Manipulation.
What skill I want to use?
Yes.
Expression or subterfuge would probably be...
Yeah, do one of those two.
Probably expression.
I mean, I could see leadership too.
Leadership would probably also work, yeah.
If leadership would work, that would probably be the best way to do it.
Leadership is going to be better than expression because, like, these are nurses. You are legitimately outranking them. You are a full doctor.
Yeah, leadership works if you're in a position of authority over them.
Basically, yeah.
You're trying to convince them, hey...
Convince them that I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Hey,
this is I'm in charge here.
This is
I'm going to change your standing orders.
Screw your rules, I'm the doctor.
Well, no. Because of the rules, I'm the doctor.
I am the doctor.
Excuse me, I'm a doctor.
Difficulty?
We're going to go with a 7 because you're breaking protocol a little bit.
Cool.
But not a lot.
In that case, that is 2 successes.
To be fair, you're also the doctor that was brought to this island specifically because you actually know what you're doing.
Well, he was brought to this island because the other doctor died. Mm-hmm. And they just literally didn't have enough hands on deck. Mm-hmm. You've got enough of a track record. Sure. They keep carding him, but, you can follow along.
Basically, I'm following along and using this extra time to... Because I have gesture, basically, like...
You've got your full medical kit. You've got every medical tool in the world if you want to use any sort of medical tool.
Yeah. Basically, I just want to keep doing an analysis of him through magic. Because if I just got a glimpse of this, then maybe with more analysis I can see what's actually going on here.
I will let you know, because you rolled so high in your life, dude's going to die real quick if something doesn't stop it. By the time he gets to the cardiac ward, it might be too late.
So is your curiosity more powerful than your need to heal?
Nope.
No, I mean,
if it were me, I'd have to make a roll. So.
I mean, I'm gonna heal this guy, whether he's alive or dead. I can figure out what happened to him probably.
Okay.
So
I would have to make a willpower roll to not let him die.
So you can tell, like, his shirt's been ripped off and he has burns. They've tried to defibrillate, and it's proven unsuccessful. You would roll me medicine and intellect. Medicine intelligence.
I'm gonna give him an exterior heart massage.
Just go up there and beat him.
Live, damn it, live!
Just put your hand to his forehead.
Medicine intelligence difficulty.
This is 6. This is your standard.
Or heal.
Cool.
Standard procedure.
Be healed.
That's it. There you go.
No, you have to press his child
5
points.
successes.
Okay, next step is fill this man with dope so his heart keeps beating.
Mm-hmm.
Dope this man.
Or
Heavy drugs.
use magic and poke him in like the ribs.
No, use magic
Or
and
fill him with magic dope.
precisely. And that's
I have to press his chakra point. Hang on. Click. Okay, it's good.
But to get the dopamine, they're pulling it up, but it's going to be in the cardiac ward. It'll be about another minute before they can get there. Like, they're going fast, but they don't just keep dope hanging off the walls. You don't know if he's got a minute.
Matter.
They don't have dope hanging off the wall? Well, guess what? I just so happen to have some in my lab coat. What do you know?
You mean the lab coat? It's in my bag still?
No.
He took it.
I assume I took
He's
that
got
back.
He has also probably got more than one.
I hope you got more than one, because I never gave it back.
What was my last case?
Were you intending to steal it?
No, I just
Forgot. They didn't mention it.
Your last
think
what?
about it.
What was my last
thing is like I wake up and
case?
there's my bag. Oh.
Actually,
Probably some old lady with pneumonia.
probably.
If all else fails,
Yeah.
there's two witnesses, and you have mine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
And you have a decent amount of...
yeah. So I'm just going to take out a little placebo injection thing, and I'm going to convince them that this is like just the most normal thing in the
Adrenaline
world.
shot would be pretty standard, and that might be something that would be on a crash cart, and might extend something. Like,
Yeah.
as long as you don't look at it too closely and be like, they probably already tried that in the ambulance, and these aren't the ambulance nurses, and
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just go ahead and do
think,
that.
just heal.
all right.
So just straight healing.
Step 1, roll me subterfuge and manipulation, subterfuge and appearance,
And appearance,
See,
cool.
there's a dice right next to your foot.
because you need to behave like this is perfectly normal.
Cool. What's the difficulty?
6.
It's a real one.
Because it's kind of normal.
3 successes.
Okay.
Appearance gets used a lot more in Maze than most World of Darkness settings.
You have to try to appear normal, yeah.
You pull out a syringe and you stop them and they step back for a second. You walk over, you jab this man right in the chest.
Okay.
Your tool is appropriate to the job, so
Yep.
roll me your life and
Roll my
arete
tools.
difficulty 5 because you are
You
using...
like to use any quintessence to reduce the difficulty?
White
or,
arete difficulty 5?
Yeah.
to reduce difficulty, or any willpowers for automatic successes. You can spend 1 willpower for an automatic success, and every point of quintessence you spend reduces the difficulty by 1.
To a maximum of your
To a
avatar.
to a maximum of your avatar, you can spend.
So, as a player, I know that I'll probably be okay. As a character, I'm not taking risks on this guy's life.
Yeah.
So, I will just straight up spend a,
Spend a willpower.
yeah.
Yep, you get 1
So-
free success.
So mark 1 willpower underneath your. So the,
Yep.
the squares underneath your willpower.
Or to mark when
that.
you spent them. Yeah.
Yeah, mark that you spent them.
You get willpower back for doing things that are super in character, basically.
Or after one night's rest.
Yeah, you also get one per
after
night.
every night.
Alright, let's see. What's the difficulty of this? Oh, what, 5?
5, because you're using a tool that is perfectly well equipped to this.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successes.
Do you have any specializations that might apply to this?
Specializations?
I don't think he's even aware specializations exist.
We haven't
Deal with that
talked
later.
about it yet.
Yeah.
Deal with that later then.
This character construction is ongoing. So you walk up, you jab this man in the heart, and he coughs and sputters, and his heart pace has returned to normal. Roll me another life and arete, difficulty 6.
Another life and heritage? Oh,
Yeah.
great.
This is
We'll
not
see what
something
happens.
that you are fully intending to do. This is just going to be a passive response.
Can you spend a willpower for an auto success?
You can still spend a willpower for an
Yeah.
auto success
Probably not.
if you wanted to.
He's alive as far as I'm concerned, so we'll
Yeah.
see.
This is like something is happening and it just that response.
2,
Something's
3,
weird.
4 successes.
All right. You force the man to stay alive. Roll me awareness perception.
Perception awareness.
You will not die this day.
Was this man struck by a lightning bolt like yesterday?
I imagine I would recognize him if so.
No.
I'll be assuming difficulty 6.
Yes.
1 success.
If he suddenly realizes that, then takes something else and stab in his chest.
This man didn't want to be healed? Question mark.
Question.
What?
He's still unconscious, but
Like,
his breathing has returned.
He doesn't want to be healed as in, like, he seems upset about this? Like, on his face, or...
Like,
He's gonna sue
he
you.
was resisting you healing him. Or trying to. It didn't
You
work.
didn't save my life, you ruined my death.
Like,
That should be a giant red flag considering the conversation we just had about the people that end up dead before we can get information out of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what?
You might want to interrogate.
You know what? Mind. I want to see what his general emotional state is.
what are you using to use your mind? By the way, you're stopped in the middle of a hallway. You just stabbed this man. His breathing has returned normal, and the nurses are kind of looking at you like, what?
I want to get him to a room first.
Yeah.
But still.
He's stabilized. I think we can get into somewhere with a little bit more analysis equipment. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, use that CAT scan to get an image of his brain. Sure.
CAT scan for a heart attack. Perfect.
Yes.
All right. You go along. We'll return to you in a little bit. Let's go to Skylar.
All right.
You go to work.
Awesome.
It's standard day. People are pulling new cases. The chief walks up to you. Skylar, you've been assigned to the dowry case. Looks like someone wanted us to finish it up. Good luck finding any clues, though, he says, handing you the paperwork for the dowry case.
All right. I'll check it out. Anything else?
Wait, didn't I check this out yesterday?
Yeah, it's strange that you got mysteriously reassigned to this case, especially after the conversation you had. When he says
This is
that,
convenient.
Yeren looks up at you, nods slightly, and looks back down at what he's doing.
Why does he have that claymore on his back?
He's a sheriff.
Yeah,
All
duh.
sheriffs have those.
No, you have not. You can roll willpower when you meet him to try to see if his claymore is upsetting to you.
Have I seen him before?
No. Alright, so what do you do for the day?
I'm gonna see if I can find any other weird things going on in that casino. Like,
Okay, so you're going to investigate the casino as a whole.
Yeah.
Roll me research and intelligence. While he's doing that, the non-working side of the group, what are you doing, Galadier?
Wake up at like 1 o'clock-ish. Turn off the anti-grav traps. Check my bag. Realize I've got a doctor's coat in it. Oh yeah, that. Put it back in.
I would at the very least have a spare, I guess.
Yeah, you probably have like
You
5 or
probably
6.
have, like, it's a work uniform. You probably have 3 or 4.
Pull out my phone. Texting. I'm going to text Akuma. The text. Do you know anything about a sudden and is there anything about a sudden and recent rise in ODs that seems suspicious to you?
I mean, that's something that I'll have to answer on my own time. So.
Yeah.
And then after texting that, and well, I don't care if I get out, I'm waiting for a response for that. But then I'm probably just gonna head out and just wander the city, just sort of refamiliarize myself with it, to get a sense for any magically important or inclined spaces.
Feeling for magic, roll me awareness and perception difficulties 6.
Just trying to see.
Get a surface glance.
Yeah, seeing, what's going on.
Alright. What'd you get, Rudy?
2 successes.
Perception of what was it?
Oh wait, no, I don't. What was the
6.
6. So yeah, 2.
Difficulty what?
6. You're looking through the casino.
5 successes.
Okay. There's a
Exceptional
few
success.
odd cases back and forth in the casino. You notice that most of the Dark Horse related stuff happens in the casino or in some sort of government capacity. And those are the ones that are kind of never answered. As far as other stuff going on in the casino, there's two layers. There's petty crime. Someone got angry and tried to flip a craps table, versus someone went in and, like the dowry case, someone went in and woke up in a resort room without anything on them, and the room wasn't lent out to anyone. It was listed as vacant. But the door was unlocked for some reason. There's other cases where it's like, hey, you notice that there are a lot of kind of minor unresolved cases, like, hey, there was a break-in but nothing was taken type stuff.
All right.
It's over the course of about the past 6 months that these have really been on the rise. Like, the Dark Horse has been around for a while, but their political aspirations have been more obvious in the past. It's lately that it's been a bit more, what are you doing? As far as numbers, though, there's nothing that's matching.
All right.
All right, John. There's one place that just stands out beyond anything else. As you're walking down the street, there's a clockmaker's shop. And you're familiar with paradox, right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with the concept of paradox.
Mm-hmm.
This place makes you feel physically uncomfortable to be near. Just magically.
Can you look up what the difficulty on my curiosity roll is going to be? It's going to be an appendix. I think it's the second appendix, merits and flaws. It's a flaw.
Go and roll me your willpower, and we'll just see. We'll assume it's a 6 at the moment, and until I find otherwise.
Three successes if it's a 6.
Alright. We'll say for now, it freaks you out enough that you can sort of resist it, but it still freaks. It's still like, what is going on in there?
That's unsettling.
And because it may relate with the other two, what they're doing. What are you two doing?
Well, first I have to go by a mechanic shop and get a dog tag.
Awesome.
Yeah, so do I.
Alright, you end up. What are you both morning people or not?
Akuma is a whenever I need to be up person. His schedule is sort of body control.
What about you, Holly?
She's a morning person. Well, she's probably gonna take Kai to school first.
Okay, so you are taking Kai to school.
Yeah.
Okay.
If he seems fine.
He seems okay. You're not sure how much he remembers of yesterday.
I mean, he does have a doctor's note.
He's going to school.
Okay. So you drive him into school.
Yeah, I'm the worst.
You drop him off, and then you drive over. As you're pulling into the mechanics, as you're walking to the mechanics, Akuma, you see a van with the Dance Studios logo emblazoned on the side of it. Pull in. Guild looks up. Looks up as the van comes in. Oh, she looks like she's got a headache. That's not the quietest vehicle I've ever heard, but it runs pretty well, I suppose.
Too much to drink last night?
Backfires twice.
Let's be frank. If I didn't have a hangover, it would have been too little to drink last night.
You think your tolerance would be a little bit higher, or you'd remember to drink water, but...
Well, water. Why drink water when there's beer there?
Now, hair of the dog doesn't work in that quantity.
Right. By the way, she's holding a beer.
Yeah, I figured.
So, what can I do for you? Oh, right. She pulls up a pair of dog tags.
Thank you.
I like how "what can I do for you" is the accent setting line that half the people that do that accent
I have a very, very bad habit of that.
What can I do for you?
What can I do for you?
Yeah.
Here you go. She's holding a dog tag.
Has she walked in yet?
Oh, right. You're in their van. I apologize. You pull your van in.
The van goes all the way in.
Well, it's a garage. You could pull the van in.
No, she'll just park and go
All right.
in.
Here you go, honey. She said, holding up a dog tag.
Thank you.
It's not working, Zach. If you want to do that, you have to put your arm in first.
I need you to know I stayed up till 3 a.m. making those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate
You
it.
strongly suspect from looking at her that she would have stayed until 3 a.m. anyway.
Yeah. Was it any more difficult than your usual evening?
Well, there were far fewer attractive men involved.
I'm curious as to what the typical number is.
Would you like to find out? She says.
Another day, maybe.
Another time.
Yeah.
You notice the hours don't list her opening until noon.
So she's gonna go back.
So yeah, she
Oh, so you guys are there when I show up?
no, they got there before she opened.
Oh, okay.
She turns around and leaves and goes back into the back room, which you suspect is her bedroom. Lock when you leave, she says.
Right. You have anything for the day?
At some point, Tarn was gonna teach me magic.
Probably a good idea. He seems more familiar with your side of things than I am.
Right. What are you familiar with?
One palm, fist. I hurt things. Very efficiently.
Okay.
My magic is mostly about myself, more than affecting things outside of me. I can do a little bit of it, but that's not my specialty.
Also, I didn't ask last night. What do you do?
I solve problems.
That's a lie.
He didn't say he doesn't create them too.
He creates something.
Want to elaborate on that?
If I elaborated, you would become an accomplice, and that's not good for your reputation.
There you go.
This is the vague side of the table. Yeah. What do you do, Gallagher? Little of this, little of that.
It's because, some people are actually proud of their careers
Keep an
and
eye
their life
out.
choices.
I'm
Keep
incredibly
an eye
proud
out
of my
around
career,
bulletin
choices.
boards.
But little of this, little of that is literally Gallagher's
You'll
job.
figure something out.
Alright.
There's one actually a couple blocks down the road.
So confused.
Anyway, I have to go give this to my lieutenant so that she doesn't get into any trouble without me.
Okay.
Good luck.
Alright.
Yeah.
You both head home.
Yeah.
Okay. Or do you head?
Do you stop by the bulletin board on the way?
Actually, yeah, no, she's gonna stop by.
You see a most wanted list. There's a face that's recently been torn off. Apparently some Carl. And then you see Kuro, quotation marks, Akuma. Wanted for, and it's pretty much everything. Except for drugs.
No drugs.
No drugs.
For some reason, he walks around in broad daylight.
You know that you also know that this wanted board is less of a turn this person in and more of a, hey, cops, beat cops, don't even bother. Just stay away. It's better for you.
Avoid if seen.
Basically.
Well, that makes sense.
Less wanted, more avoid if seen.
Yes. You head back to Tarns.
Yeah.
Sundays are always the big appearance days.
You, as you knock on the door, Tarn looks over. Well, you walk in, the door's open. Enter. How are you doing today, Torel? Better, I hope.
Yeah, a little better.
Good, good. He waves his hand, and the open sign flips around to close, and you hear a click of the door. Probably don't want to practice in the windows. I'll have to teach you a thing or two about vulgar magic.
He is not the correct person to teach you about vulgar magic.
No, he'll teach you exactly what it is and exactly why it's so much fun.
Alright, so he basically takes upstairs and he gives you the primer on everything that you know outside of the game, in the game, etc., etc. And he's walking you through the finer points. So
Give you the breakdown on what your focus is, that you have to decide for yourself, and then
yeah. Like he shows you a variety of techniques and different focuses, and he pulls out some different instruments for you to try. But yeah. And sure, before we go to late afternoon, we'll finish up with Faust. Or Akuma. What do you do when you get back?
Immediately head back and find Night Venom and
give her the
hand
dog
dog
tag.
tags.
It attaches.
Can this be around the time he gets text?
No, this is probably just before that. Anything else you have planned for morning?
And for clarification for the audience, Gora, well, I haven't decided her first name yet, but Night Venom is a hunter of the Knights of St. Adrian, which means that her hunting technique is mystic tattoos that provide various benefits.
Yeah.
For instance, she has on her right hand the tattoo of just the picture of a revolver across her right hand, which is for her primary firearm, which causes her to never run out of ammunition for that particular firearm as long as she's firing it.
Yeah.
Among various other mystic tattoos that give her various benefits.
But once again, she has to be careful overdrawing on these.
Yeah.
Because it will cause a derangement.
Psycho.
Alright, anything, what else do you have planned for the morning, or are you going to actually lay low?
Unless there's anything drastic that needs to be solved right now, it's mostly going to be laying low and doing research.
What's being solved right now is that your gang just built a heck of a rep. And there's some people out for vengeance. So it's a lot of not laying low and, you know, what most people think of laying low in the sense of making sure that all of your members are accounted for and safe.
Yeah, so make sure everyone's safe and sound, and then if there is any upcoming activity, if anyone's trying to front or flex on the group, it's time for a show of force.
Yeah. Right now, people are still trying to figure out what's going on. So today is mostly lay low. You got a guy calls himself Stinger. He's really good with computers. And he's been just sort of keeping an eye on what everybody else has been doing. He's found a good way to pick up the news report broadcasts before they go to air. So you can get the news about, depending on the kind of news, 6 to 12 hours before they air on TV.
Yeah.
Or go to, you know, most sites to be written up.
If you get any signs of any of the gangs, especially the Cutters, making a move on us, let me know. We need to cut them off before they do anything major.
The Cutters will be the easiest ones, boss. You
Yeah.
know that they always like to make a show. They always want the news to know they're doing something. The rest of them I can't account for, but I'm gonna be honest, the Cutters are the only ones I'm scared of.
Well, the other one you should be watching out for is the Dark Horses. I know they're hard to track, but
Yeah, I got nothing on them.
Yeah. But if anything shows up, I want you to jump on it.
Right, boss.
If they make any mistakes, we need to know.
Do what I can.
Alright.
Sits back down. He's frankly just a kid. He's 15 years old. You keep him on computers, not only because he's good at it, because frankly you don't want him.
I don't want him getting hurt, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want him getting hurt. He's noodly armed kid.
Yeah.
Alright. And you'll get the text and we'll pick up with the afternoon next time.
Alright.
So, thank you all very much for watching.
Say bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Farewell.
Goodbye.